Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of the MinnMax Show, a place about games, friends, getting better. I'm Ben Hansen. Thank you for being here. I'm joined by Haley McLean.
Hi, everyone.
Ooh, creepy. I can't tell. Hi. Joined by Jeff Archiafava.
I think it was supposed to be cute. So
okay.
that's
cute.
Well, I, the Beholder, we're also joined by the Creepster, Jacob Keller.
Hi, everyone.
You can do a Jacob dirty at the end there, calling him the Creepster. Well, he didn't even do anything.
What are you going to do? Hey, welcome to this episode, everybody. We have a lot to cover on this here episode of the MinnMax Show. We're talking about Cairn, the rock climbing game that I think we've talked about before. It was delayed from the end of last year. Jacob in particular has really been looking forward to it for a while. I feel like he played a demo. Felt like 6 years ago.
Demo came out maybe even in December of 2024 or something.
Yeah, that feels right. Yeah, so we're finally going to unpack that. Excited to talk about it. And then when Haley, the creepster herself, she's been playing Cyberpunk 2077. And so that's going to, of course, segue into a conversation about, help me name this, like gaming's biggest reevaluations is what I want to call it. But I'm like, that word
you love
sucks.
saying gaming's biggest. It's just us, right?
Game is thickest turnaround.
Haley played Cyberpunk, okay?
Okay.
Just be honest.
All mine are like, I tried
like
this game and I didn't like it, and then I tried this game and I did like it. So can you put that in the thumbnail?
Yeah, that's what's tough. It's like, but I think the industry stuff is interesting too, like about faces from the industry, re-reviewing, reconsiderations, rethinking. That's what we're going to talk about. Just times when the industry is like, oh, wait. Like after that game's release, it turns out that was way better than we all perceived, or way worse than we all perceived. So we got some suggestions from the community. We'll unpack all that
Reverse
stuff.
flop era.
Right. Okay, that's a great headline. Then we're going to talk about Fable 2026, and what is this? What do my eyes behold? Fable 2004 that Haley McLean has been playing, the original Fable. So I'm curious to hear what that's like to go back to. We're going to be talking about Highguard, which is the new 3v3 free-to-play multiplayer game that was revealed at the end of the Game Awards. Looking forward to unpacking that. Jacob Geller, you want to talk a little bit more about Perfect Tides?
Yeah, I mean, I think I can kind of fit it into my games I've reconsidered.
All right.
You know, but I want to talk about it.
All right, I'm excited to talk about that once you finished, since you finished Station to Station there and other stuff. And then, Jeff, you want to talk about a game that you clearly named, Space Warlord Baby Trading Simulator.
Yeah, you can quiz me on the name of that once we get to that segment, and I will have already forgotten it again.
All right, yes. Perfect. And then back after the show, we have some community questions that people submitted over there on Patreon. Some good ones this week, right? Some good thinkers, no stinkers.
Thinky ones, yeah.
Thinky ones, yeah. All right, Cairn. I was just thinking about auction powers the other day, Haley, and it's like, I was literally laying in my bed.
That's our favorite thing, you and I.
The stupid character from the charity stream. But I was still thinking about, like, if I could spend an hour every day doing the auction powers character begging not to be rejected from his social environment, that is my favorite role playing, speaking of acting. And him constantly having to say no, 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 and then say yeah in an Austin Powers.
No, yeah.
It's number one funny thing in my mind. Other than climbing a damn mountain, Cairn, Cairn. This game is out right now. Jacob, it feels like you've maybe played the most of this thing?
I finished it.
Holy cow. All right, how long did it take you?
It took me about, 12 hours, maybe? Notably, longer than Baby Steps, which I think is really interesting because, like, this game, and Jeff, I'm curious if you agree, playing this right after Baby Steps, like, there are a lot of things that I'm like, guy who's only played Baby Steps, getting big Baby Steps.
Boss Baby Steps, yeah. No, I immediately thought of that as well, jumping into Cairn. I'm like, okay, this feels like you baby step freaks who just love looking at every pixel that you're stepping on. Just imagine now it's all about rock climbing, and here you go.
It's a game about looking at textures, which is what Baby Steps is. But to get it out there, designed to be way more it can also be a frustrating game, but it's not a rage game. It's not, it is not a getting over it. It is a game that you were designed to,
I was raging a little bit, Jacob. I was sending you messages being like, how do you get over this hill? sending pictures, and there was times where I was getting really pissed off at it, which not to the extent of baby steps, but I think you're humble bragging that you climbed the mountain very fast, because I'm like 6 hours in and I don't think I'm even close to the top. I keep falling and dying over and over.
What is the tip? Like, what are you learning to help you progress in Cairn?
Jacob did mention the use your chalk tip, which I did forget after the initial tutorial that was even an option, and
Right.
it is like a superpower to get you through really tough ares.
Yeah,
But other than that,
so I
it's
guess
really
we
just be
should
better at climbing.
we should talk about like what the game
Yeah,
is, because there are a lot of video games in which you climb. Any Sony AAA game, you're going to be hopping from rock to rock. And even a couple years ago, Jusant came out, which is a game about climbing. But none of them are like this. This is the first game that I can remember playing that is full manual control over each limb climbing.
Yes.
There are no shortcuts. You are going to move arm, leg up the whole damn mountain, and you are going to be like bracing yourself, and they don't have, there are many ways up the mountain, but also that means you need to figure out where you're going. Even Jusant was a pretty linear climb, and this is totally open.
Yeah, it is unbelievably satisfying. Like, you talked about it even back playing the demo, like, oh, these controls are so unique. The controls are so unique. So I was going into it bracing for that, but still, I was so impressed by the idea of like, okay, it's individual limbs, which could be a mess. If it's like, well, it totally would feel like a Bennett Foddy game if you're like controlling this limb, controlling this limb. But the fact that it like automatically pops to what it recommends the next limb is that you move, like that just makes it so seamless. And it feels almost like turn-based strategy game or something. It's like, all right, now I'll make the decision for this arm. Okay, now this one goes here. Now this one over here, and just slowly inching up the mountain. And then it's so cool that also you can have manual control if you want to. You can zoom in and be like, actually, I need to move my leg here. And it is so impactful when you start to like quiver in this game. Like when you see that arm start to shake, and it's like, oh my God, of course there's so much pressure on it, because there's not really a HUD up for the game here. Like they're really trying to minimize that. And so when you're just going off the breath and the quivering of each limb before you fall to your doom, so damn cool.
Yeah, you have a stamina system, which they tell you like, okay, well, there's one button that you can hold in that you kind of shake out your arms, and that will reset your stamina. But you at no time do you see a stamina bar or anything. You're going on if you're getting shaky, and then like you'll start to kind of lose the color if you're really screwed. Or else just like listening to her breathing, you can tell. Even when your limbs are moving completely normal, you can start to hear like she's breathing heavier. Like I need to figure out I need to get my feet and my hands in a position where she's just gonna like everything's gonna be evenly distributed, and she's gonna be able to rest for a second. And none of that is communicated like with any kind of visual UI system other than just you're listening to her breathe, and you can just, by that point, you can just tell, like, this is a good spot. I'm going to just sit here for a second. They do such a phenomenal job. Like, the moving can be, it is manual, and it is slow and very methodical, and feels a little awkward to be, like, moving one limb at a time. But, like, it does such a phenomenal job of capturing rock climbing and like the rock climbing physics of how people climb up rocks, and like any and like the handwork is phenomenal. Like any crack, she will slip her fingers into it like you would, or any like little handhold, or even like the edge of a rock, she will instinctively like put her hand around it, and all of that. There must be some kind of super complicated grip system behind the scenes also that they don't tell you anything about, but it's like some places you're just going to have like she's going to be way more stable, and you can figure it out if you know like anything about rock climbing, about like, well, it's better for me to put my hand here, even but there's not like yellow spray paint there or any of that kind of crap. Like you're just figuring it out in a very like realistic way. And also like body parts on opposite sides to create tension.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
as
is
you're
the
going
thing where I was just like, I've never seen this before. You know, it's like I've seen like, oh, you know, move your hand to this place where there's a little crevice. But the fact that you can climb a chimney by pushing your arms and legs against opposite sides and using that tension is like, it is so impressive and it's so ambitious. And you will run into times that it feels like it doesn't quite work. Like, I don't want to give the impression that the game system is perfect, and there will be times when the automatic limb system is not moving the limb you want, and there will be times that you think you should be secure and your character isn't. But like, it is because what they're doing is so like monumentally ambitious here, and the fact that it works like 95% of the time is incredible.
Yeah, it's just so satisfying, like you mentioned, to not have the whole PlayStation-ified, rock climbing system of like, all right, here's a yellow handhold, go to this. Even like God of War Ragnarok, a game I really like, where there's a big kind of rock climbing sequence. It still like has to be somewhat gamified, but it's just so cool to like walk up to a mountain in this game and not have it be like a full sim. Like, it's still got some personality and style, of course, but just to walk up to a mountain and be like, yeah, I don't know, find a way to climb up this. Like, there's nothing that really looks gamey about it, It's like, okay, I gotta scout it out, and I think I can go over here. And being able to like snap the camera back and like fly it around and scout out your route, like that is so cool.
And they are so not shy of like right now I'm stuck on the side of the mountain, and I think I'm just gonna die there because like the path that I have taken up, I don't know that I can get up it anymore. And there have been places where I'm like, you walk along the base and you're like, okay, this looks like a pretty good place. And then you get like 100 feet up and it's like, I don't know where I'm supposed to go from here. Yeah. And I don't even know if I can. And like all of the sim aspects of like, you have to manage your food and your water and also like temperature and stuff. And like, I was very suspicious about whether I would like that or dislike it, and it was coming down to like, how much in the way is this gonna get? Mm-hmm. And like where I am right now, it's very much in the way because I'm also out of water, and so like I have like one drink left in my bottle. Like I had to revert to the last save last night because I had climbed up as far as I could. I ran out of water, so I was getting dehydrated, and like, I was so close to the top, next ledge part that I had to get to, but I kept slipping, and every time I slipped, like I'm just like running out of more stamina, and I'm getting more and more dehydrated, and it was like, I think I just lost like a half an hour of progress because like I have to start this over again and like try and find a different route, or I might have to go farther down the mountain and pick a different starting place, and like, I thought I would be very upset about that, but I kind of like it at this point.
Yeah,
because it is like it's kind of that high stakes kind of thing that makes like, if you don't want that experience, like if you're playing this because you're tired of climbing in every other open world video game where there's like no thought to it whatsoever, and this is a very thoughtful exercise.
It always hit you with that little like time since last save at the most, almost like comedic moments. I'll be so stuck and I'm getting so mad. It's like 27 minutes, 40 seconds, and it fades away. And I'm like, oh, it like empowers me to want to try harder.
Yeah, it's like, I love this game and I really want people to try it. I will say, and I realize this won't make people want to try it, it might be the single most stressful game I've ever played. It is certainly the game in which my hands have sweat the most, which I think is just kind of inherent in like anything related to heights. But like, it is so, it is just so nerve-wracking. And there is both the kind of like moment to moment stress of like, literally, where do I put my hand next? And also, Jeff, as you said, every second longer I take with this, my resources are trickling down. And it's like, the game is good about it. I think there is a kind of Resident Evil 4 smart inventory thing going on where there are places where you can collect materials and they will give you more or fewer materials based on how your inventory is. So like, Jeff, I'm sure if you got to the next ledge, you would find a pot and it would be full of like various drinks. But that doesn't help you on the wall. And there are some parts of the game where there are real difficulty spikes, and they're like narratively motivated. It's interesting that there's a difficulty spike there, but like there are some places where you're just like, oh my God, like I cannot believe this wall that I'm looking at, or like how thin you want me to spread myself here.
Oh, that's so cool. Also, just a simple note, but in the tutorial for this game, you're in a gym. And it's like, hey, go up these 3 routes. Here's another rock wall in the gym. Got it. And it is such a cool moment when you're in the tutorial and you're climbing the last little rock wall in the tutorial and you get to the top and you stand up and the entire mountain is right in front of you. And it's like the gym is like connected to the real world. And it's like you look back down, it's like, wait, that was the tutorial there. And now it's just like game on, get climbing in the open world. It's a great little Breath of the Wild moment, if you will, there.
They made me nervous too, of like, do you want to try the tutorial again, or do you want to go to the, like, it made me double think, like, I don't know, I think I'm okay. And the first couple climbs are okay, but like Jacob was saying, there's some moments where you get into a rhythm and you're like, this isn't too bad, like this is a pretty easy game, and then you'll just be stuck for 45 minutes on the side of a cliff. It starts to rain. You use a baton to just hang there and wait for the rain to go away. And you're like, damn it, I'm so thirsty, but I can't drink the rain. So I'm just sitting here.
We haven't even mentioned the baton system, which is really interesting too, because like as you're climbing, you can put these batons in and that will save you if you fall. So it's kind of like you're checkpointing yourself. Right. But like, anytime you use one, there's a little quick time event with it, and you're always in danger that you might screw it up. Like if you get outside that, it's going to break once you get it back, and you have a limited number of them. And one of the things that totally screwed me last night was like, I guess I had explored this like inner cave, and then I came out and I started going up the wall, and I hadn't recalled my pitons. So I only had one left.
Is it piton?
That like. Yeah, like halfway up the mountain, I used the one that I had left, and then I had to go the rest of the way because all the other ones were still somewhere else, and that's when I really backed myself into a corner. But it's an interesting way to be like, well, I probably could I could go another 50 feet without having to put one in. I'm fine, or you know, like it's like I'm not even going to use one at all here, and then you invariably end up falling, and it's like, oh, shit. And now I'm all injured. And when I went into that cave, like there are certain caves where the rock wall is too dense to like even use one, and so I put one at the very beginning.
When you find that, when it's like you can't screw into this, I was just like, because it's so, you're so reliant on them, and then being told you can't use one.
And I was so far from my save, and I was like, but I really want to see what's on the other side. And so like I managed to put one like on the floor before I went out there. I was like, okay, but this will be fine. And then I fell and I swung so far and I smashed against the wall, and I didn't die, but I think that was worse because all my health was gone and I was laying there blacked out. And so they were like, oh, well, when you come back, you should really try and fix yourself as fast as you can. I was like, I'm just eating this save and going back to the last checkpoint because like it, and like I love that they put you in those situations that like that have real meaning to them. That like that was the one thing about Baby Steps that really excited me, and that's kind of carrying forward into this of like, there are times, man, when you're just sweating and the game's not going to let you off the hook easily.
So I mean, I feel like you never got to Jacob's poignant question of like, as somebody who has Baby Steps as their favorite game of all time at this point, what are you drinking? Grape juice out of a mason jar?
It's black tea. Thank you.
Cool. Yes. Anyways, I mean, is this game extremely up your alley? Does it feel like a lesser version of Baby Steps, or like how's it comparing in your mind?
I am very much enjoying it. Obviously, nothing I'll ever enjoy as much as Baby Steps. But yes, I am liking everything about it. Very much so. If I wasn't stuck and like dreading having to try and figure out that climb again after we record this, I'd probably be higher on it. But yes, it's great. It's what I was hoping that it would be.
Yeah.
And I want to just touch on the the kind of narrative the idea of it, because I think it's so cool and different, where it's like there are so many games about climbing a mountain where the act of climbing a mountain is an act of kind of personal, you are overcoming something, you're proving something to yourself. That's what Baby Steps is. That's what Jusant is. That, there's so many, and it's like, it's a great metaphor for that. And this is not that, but it is also interacting with the real world idea of mountain climbing, which is that this is an unbelievably dangerous and largely selfish thing to do. Yeah. Because you don't get anything for climbing a mountain other than the act of climbing a mountain. And like pretty early on, it starts throwing in the ideas that like this is not necessarily a purely good thing, this isn't a Baby Steps where like you're pathetic and you don't get hurt if you fall down the mountain, and so the best thing for you to do is climb the mountain. It's like you are getting calls on your thing from people who care about you, kind of saying like, hey, I'm happy for you, I can't say I totally understand why you're doing this, and it's paired with the vocal performance of the main character. I really want to highlight and call out, because it is kind of different than most other video game performances I can think of, where she is very quiet. She doesn't vocalize her emotions. She's really angry as a person, and part of the way that the game actually makes you maybe more okay with the falls is when you fall, she is so mad, like she's like screaming with frustration in a way that I haven't heard. And we have maybe all experienced the things of like when you're playing a video game and you're playing as a woman, and the kind of grunts of exertion feel kind of weirdly sexual, and you're like, am I like embarrassed to have someone hear this and not know what I'm doing? And that is so not the case here, because they are so just like guttural and angry. It is really like, just like there is something that they're doing with this game, and I don't want to go too much into like the spoilers and whatever of it, but like, the ending of this game bodied me. Like, ooh. Truly, I was like taken out. And I, I guess we'll talk about it in 11 months when we get to like the best moments of the year. But like, it really, really got me in a way that is much more complex than other mountain climbing metaphor stories.
Right.
Just for like a follow-up thought, because this made me think of that, what Jacob was just talking about too, is the game starts you off with a broken camera in your bag that you can choose to like recycle. So even if she got to the top, she has no way to document it or prove it. So she could just hang out halfway, come down and go, I did it. But that's not what the game's about. She just wants to do it because she wants to do it. Yeah. So that's why she's going to the top.
It's sweet. Yeah, Cairn. It's out on Steam and PlayStation at this point, if you want to check it out. And it's from the game bakers who made Fury back in, 2016?
One of my favorite games.
One of Jacob's favorite games, a boss rush thing. And then Haven in 2020, which I didn't play. Did you play that one, Jacob?
I didn't beat it. Okay. I liked the vibe of it, but it was kind of more of like a visual novel, and I just didn't make it through.
Yeah. Well, that's forgiven. Cairn, name of that thing. Jacob, you know what you need to climb a mountain?
What do I need?
Muscles. You know how you get muscles, little man?
Clearly not.
Mean.
Protein. And what are you gonna do? You're gonna go out in the woods and hunt down a chicken, slaughter it, shove it in your gullet? What are you, mad? What are you, Tarzan? No, you need a convenient way to get some protein in a delicious package. That's why Huel you need, everybody. Huel, Jeffem, I say Huel. I promise you, as God is my witness, Jeffem, at some point, you're gonna go to sleep in your little bed, and I'm gonna sneak into your house, and I'm gonna pour Huel into your mouth as you sleep.
Do the advertisers like what we do when we do when we advertise? It's never been acknowledged. Products.
I'm out of Huel right now.
Threaten me next.
I'll pass. Genuinely, when I don't have Huel in my fridge anymore, I feel incomplete. I love having just a nice, bottle of Huel that I can crack open. We're in a rush. You need a quick, easy meal that has, let's say 27 essential vitamins and minerals, a bunch of protein in it, and Huel's just a glug, glug, glug. Chug that. It's delicious. They got strawberry banana. They got chocolate. They got some iced coffee, vanilla. Every flavor is more delicious than the last. So they have emergency, high protein, complete meal bottles there, but then they also have powder if you want a controlled, customizable high protein experience. So you can get Huel's full high protein starter kit with MinnMax's exclusive offer of 20% off online with the code MinnMax20 at Huel.com/MinnMax20. New customers only. Code only valid for the bundle. Thanks to Huel for partnering and supporting the show in a big way. Check out the link in the description if you would like some easy protein in a delicious package. Can't say enough. Huel. Put it in your body.
I was gonna say, have it your way. How are you doing it there?
Speaking of have it your way, what's the deal with you in Cyberpunk? Why of all times on this planet Earth did you jump into Cyberpunk right here and right now?
I don't know. I just love end of the year gaming time because nothing comes out. We finished, I started playing Cyberpunk the day after we finished our discussions. It's you have so much time ahead of you. Oh, you come back from Christmas with your family and you're I have 4 days in a row where I have nothing to do besides some laundry and sitting inside. This is the best time of year. And for some reason, I just really wanted to play Cyberpunk. I've always meant to. Because I love CD Projekt Red. I loved Witcher 3. And I was really excited for Cyberpunk. And then obviously it came out in PU. Holy crud. I was watching videos from back when it came out to remind myself of how poorly performing that game was, and it's crazy. I remember my partner's brother was able to beat the entire game and then get a refund on it. That's because they were issuing refunds to people who purchased it because it was running so poorly. Yeah. And happy to report in 2026, Cyberpunk 2027 is great. It's a great video game. It runs great. Story's great. Pacing's great. I really like the systems in there.
Were you playing on Switch too or anything kind of timely like that, or what are you playing on?
No, I'm playing on PS5, but my partner is playing it on Switch too, but he didn't see it through like me. I'm pretty close to the end credits. I think about 40, 50 hours in. Okay. And I'm going to finish it, but I didn't hear any complaints from the Switch 2. I'd imagine it's running fine, but I haven't glanced over while he's playing it, but it looks great on PS5.
Yeah, I've heard good things about the Switch 2 version. But Jeff, do you remember playing this game? Remember when we did the deepest dive on this game? We talked about it for hours and hours and hours and hours.
You did the deepest dive on it? I didn't know that.
We totally did. Yep.
Oh.
When it came out, when it was quote unquote unplayable.
And it was I remember, God, I think I played it on PC and just had to play it at 720 or something. But on PC, it was fine. Whereas everybody else was PlayStation was nuking it from orbit, so it wasn't in their store anymore. It was such a wild time.
Oh my God. How much of the conversation was just the performance issues?
I remember trying to minimize it. And Jeff, for the last time, stop trying to talk. I was trying to minimize the performance stuff. So I'm I want this to stand the test of time a little bit. And I don't want this video to be outdated 6 months from now with us just being chug-a-lug, it runs like butt. I don't know what the story's trying to say, whatever. It's you can still talk about the missions and stuff in the game. So hopefully it's aged well.
I played it on Xbox and it was fine. It crashed maybe 2 times in the 70 hours that I played it. I had such a different experience from everybody who hated what they were doing in that game when it first came out.
It was an interesting, weird time, to talk about it. But how was the story for you, Haley?
I really like the story. It's so weird having Keanu Reeves just there all the time. I kind of am used to it because I remember when he first came out on the stage, everyone was like, what? I remember people being he's probably only in a couple missions. Keanu Reeves is in every scene. He talks every 2 minutes. I can't even imagine how much audio he had to record for this and mocap and stuff like that. He's such the main character, essentially, besides yourself. So it's just kind of fun that he's just always around. That's a very intriguing premise is an actor I is hanging out with me the entire time I'm playing this game.
Stuck in your head.
Just in my head. Yeah, I think that's kind of a cool presence or a cool idea of you always kind of have a companion in these kind of games like Fallout and stuff like that. You choose your companion, but in this one, your companion is taking over your brain and you're slowly dying kind of thing. And I'm should I they kind of plays on, are you mean to Johnny? Are you nice to Johnny? And I'm thinking right now, I should probably be nice to Johnny so that he doesn't expedite the deletion of my psyche in my brain that he has the power to do. I don't really know how that's going to play out or anything. But yeah, I thought the pacing's really good. I'm finding myself actually drawn towards the side missions and side stuff. And they have a really fun iconic weapon system. I was thinking about Leo because if you collect all the iconic weapons, you can put them back in your base and it puts them up on the wall in a very satisfying way. You can like slot them there like in Hitman where you collect every weapon. And that's a really nice incentive model to make me want to go out and do extra stuff. Just because it's like, oh, I might get a legendary weapon that I can just put on my wall and look at. Like, I don't know. Something about that is really working for me. And then the other thing that's really quite unique with this is the whole augments in your body system. And I know they tweaked that a lot in the 2.0 update that just kind of happened. Even around the time that I was playing it, it might have been like the same. Maybe I got psychologically marketed at when the new update came out or something like that. Yeah. And that's why I wanted to play it. But it's like you can kind of play it a few different ways, and then the type of augments that you put on your body will pair with the type of like thing that you're running. So, for example, my build that I'm running right now is like a headshot build, and then like stealth headshot. So if I'm like crouched, I get like a bunch of extra damage. If I use a pistol, I get a bunch of extra damage. If I am sprinting while crouched, I get extra damage. And then I have a bunch of extra augments of just like headshots do extra damage. So I just have this really great pistol that I run, and I can just stealth and go bung, 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 and just kill everybody, even if they're the strongest, NPC character ever. I can just one-shot headshot them and kill them and go through. Yeah. So it's kind of like this pseudo stealth / gunslinger thing, but you could also play it a whole different way where there's like these smart augments that make it so that weapons lock on to the other person if you're using smart weapons. So then you could have this crazy like machine gun that you shoot from far away, and the bullets kind of like go like heat-seeking missiles and track onto the person you want to shoot at, and I'll hit them like crazy. So the weapons act different depending on what augments you have. It's a lot of different ways you can play it that I think is pretty fun, and not what I know CD Projekt Red for. It's usually just like magic, change the magic to blue magic or red. I can't even remember now, but you know what I mean. Use your swords. There's a lot of effort in trying to make the gameplay feel different in a bunch of different ways.
It's so wild to think of this game when it came out in 2020, and the fact that was 5 years ago, right? But it's still held up as like a benchmark for like, well, if you want an open world game, play Cyberpunk, I guess. If you want to see what your new PC can do, still play Cyberpunk. Like, it has aged remarkably well. Like, I just had a friend was asking me like, oh, I like open world games. What should I play? I was like, Cyberpunk, I guess the first one that comes to mind. So like, good on them.
That was the first one?
Well, I don't know. Trying to figure out like on Xbox specifically. I was like, yeah, I guess Cyberpunk might be the best option if you haven't played it. And like, the thing that I think stands out to me the most about Cyberpunk is like, I still think it's like my favorite city in any game ever. Like, just walking around that city, I think is so incredible. And there's so much detail everywhere. Like, I wouldn't mind if if Cyberpunk 2 is just also taking place in the city, just the same environments. Like, I'm happy to go back.
Yeah, and sometimes the neon thing can get a little samey, but I think they do a good job of parsing, like, it's the future, but the future still sucks and isn't just neon and cool and shiny. There's, different areas look different, even if everything looks quote unquote quote futuristic sort of thing. Mm-hmm. Like even the Badlands, which is just desert, still has like a sci-fi vibe to it, even if you're out just driving in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
Did any of you guys play the DLC?
No, I'm intending to when I finish it though. The what is it called? Something of Liberty.
Phantom
Liberty. I always think of it as the Idris Elba one because like I heard it was sick, and I like the idea of I've always meant to go back to it, and I just never have. But like I like the idea of a DLC contained story because like the Witcher 3 DLCs had like the best writing in that game. So yeah, that's always I've been like I want to get to Idris Elba. I want to see what he's up to.
Yeah, I've meant to get to it for a long time too. I realistically probably won't be able to squeeze it in, but a friend of the show, Grant, he was just playing it on Switch too, and he played through the Phantom Liberty stuff and loved it. And so yeah, it's just Idris Elba Mission Impossible stuff. Like it's cool as hell. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Seems great.
Oh yeah.
It is just weird to think about the roller coaster ride that game went on. Like, God, that game was so hyped. Every E3 presentation, people were kicking down the doors trying to get in it. Like, this was just the most anticipated thing ever. And then it was the biggest turd ever. And then just slowly but steadily now it's just like, well, of course, Cyberpunk's great. What are you even talking about? Like, if you just have no sense of history, it's so weird.
And I mean, like, thinking about like the week of release, it was like reviews came out. All the reviews were like, the game has major issues. people were like, F you. You know, you don't know what you're talking about. Your computer sucks. There's no way this game could disappoint us. And then it came out, and they were even more mad than like any of the reviewers had been. And so it's just, the hype cycle that so often happens of I won't hear a bad word about this to wait, why didn't you tell me there were these giant problems?
Come on, man. But yeah, thinking about like the industry's biggest reevaluations, and like we're talking about a little bit in the Monday meeting, and it's like, okay, the tech stuff seems to be an easy one to latch onto, right? It's like, well, this game didn't run well at launch, then they eventually patched it, and now it's easier and better. But then there's like the bigger versions of that story. Like, I mean, Jeff, I guess like No Man's Sky is kind of like the biggie that I guess you're the representative of.
Yeah, the biggest. That was another one. I'm sorry that I played when it came out, and I had a really fun time playing it. It like surely everything that they added to it has made it better, and also like that one was an interesting one. Not letting Hello Games off the hook for anything, but like the way Sean Murray talked about that game was very aspirational, and like. He wants to be able to do anything. And I don't know, like I've been in this industry listening to Peter Molyneux like explain stuff that never made it into any of his game. Like once that game came out and everybody started hating it, they created like the laundry list, mega doc of every statement that Sean Murray ever made and how it was inaccurate and stuff. And like, why are you taking everything literally as if it's like, this is a legally binding contract of what he's saying that he wants in this game. There were certainly things that he said that were like, oh, you can meet other people.
That's
and
the
then
biggie.
It was like, that was the one that they were like, people actually found the same planet. The odds were like 0.000001 on like the first day it was out or something. And he was like, oh, like, that's not working. We'll put it in there. We promise. And it was
that was just. I mean, that's a larger conversation too. But just like their partnership with PlayStation and like the messaging and PlayStation being frustrated, Hello Games being frustrated. But it was literally like they had to like slap the sticker on the box to like cover up the multiplayer labels. Like that level of miscommunication is, I'd say, borderline unforgivable. As much as I like Sean Murray and everything else, but like, can I play this game with my friends? Who knows? We're not going to tell you. Buy the game.
And if that was the complaint, I totally understand that. But like gamers do this with every game that they don't like. Mass Effect 3, when Mass Effect 3 came out, it's like, okay, we're mad at a game now. Let's send the lawyers in, the internet lawyers, and make the biggest list of every single thing that we can be mad at this game about. And you end up dipping into bullshit territory for a lot of it that is,
It's happening to Highguard right now, honestly, kind of too.
Yeah, that's an interesting one to unpack for sure. I think of that with like Battlefront 2, Star Wars Battlefront 2. When thinking about like the biggest reevaluations where that game came out and it was like loot box city, F you DICE, this is terrible. And now like there was that spike with Andor where everyone went back and was playing Battlefront 2 and like, this is the best Star Wars game of all time. It's just so weird. And like, I'm fascinated by that. Just like the simple idea of like the teams putting in the work, even like Destiny 1 at launch, I think back on where everyone's kind of like, all right, I see what you're going for, Bungie. Nice try. I guess keep building. And then eventually, by the time the Taken King came out, it was like, okay, this game officially rules. And then Destiny 2 is going through its own evolution and cycle.
It must be so kind of such an impossible position as a developer to be in. And it's like, living games already seem impossible to make. But like, it's like you have these examples of like they came out and no one was happy. And then they just kept working. And eventually everyone came around. But it's like that can't happen to every game, And so it's like for every Destiny, there's like what is that dodgeball game? Knockout City, or whatever, where it's like they must have been thinking like, you know what? Maybe if we just work on this for like 4 years, suddenly it will be a classic. But like, so most of the time, I think you just have to cut your losses, and it must be so hard to know like how to do. I mean, the No Man's Sky thing is crazy because it's not even a living game. Like people aren't even paying more for it.
Right. Yeah.
They paid once and they've released content updates for a decade.
Yeah, I feel like the community is just like, it's okay. You can charge us at a certain point, Hello Games. It's all right.
Yes.
Yeah, it
please.
is weird. I mean, yeah, the big example there with just like working on it to an aggressive degree, right? Caffeine Dad wrote in about Final Fantasy 14. Realm Reborn is maybe like the ultimate example of what an absolute turd. Okay, hang on. We'll be back. And then relaunch. And now it's like, well, 14, iconic, of course. No questions asked. It's impossible. But I'm fascinated too by like the perception flips, you know, where it's like the game is the game. But just over time, people are like, oh no,
Like,
what
what day did it flip?
Right. When did people realize, like,
Between
that was secretly a
2020 and now.
masterpiece? Right.
Yeah.
And something has changed in the culture for some of
Like
these
March
games.
3rd, 2024, like the last person was dunked on it for a bug or something. Like, when did that happen?
No, but even like, yeah, outside of the bug stuff, just like kind of iconic games that suddenly society just looks back on, they're like, oh, wait a minute, we did that game dirty. Actually, that game was great. Or what were we thinking? That game was actually terrible the whole time. We must have all been colossally high. And like, I think of, you know, this is maybe the obvious one, but I think of like the Demon Souls, Dark Souls thing, you know, where like being at Game Informer when Dark Souls launched and Phil Kohler was reviewing Dark Souls. And Jeff, I don't know if you remember that. It was just like,
I think about that once a week, Hanson, for the last 15 years. Yes.
it was because the tone was just like, aha, Phil with his weird Japanese game. Oh, this one's hard. Okay, that looks
And
dumb.
like the entire time he was playing it, he was losing his mind because he was getting killed by, you know, like the same giant rat 50 times.
Right.
And so then he turned around and gave it a 9.5 and everybody thought he was absolutely insane. And man, like if I was Phil, I would be going around telling that story all the time as like my cred in this industry.
But it happens, right? It's like, oh no, he saw it, but it's not like he dunked on it and then it flipped, right? There are plenty of instances of that. I'm
No,
just like,
yeah.
I mean, Jeff, I'm giving Hitman a 7.0 and moving on with his life. And then he's regretted it every day of his life, I think.
Yeah, sure.
No, not exactly. Right? That was an example of just like building up the episodic thing. That was such a weird release for
was
you know?
that was when the game first launched and there was like one city that they wanted you to play 100 times, which Leo would still have been happy with at that point.
Yeah,
but
he can't be.
it was that was a weird kind of format thing. But yeah, the Demon Souls, Dark Souls thing was like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Like every game that came out, a couple more of us would show up and be like, no, actually that is a great game and you should also play it and love it like us.
And it's interesting that like FromSoft had been making the Kingsfield games, which are like not that dissimilar. Like obviously they are much rougher sketches of what Demon Souls would have. But it's like I remember Demon Souls coming out, and no one was like, "This sucks," but it was like, "Here's a weird Japanese game
that's people.
It's not going to sound fun, but trust me, it is fun." But like they had been doing that before then,
right,
to no mainstream success.
Right.
And then it was almost Demon Souls was the thing that was like seesaws starting to tilt. And then eventually it's, you know, Elden Ring is selling 25 million copies.
Yeah, like I told the story before, but interviewing FromSoft when I went there for the Dark Souls 3 cover story trip, and the studio head, he's like, yeah, everybody just made fun of us for decades for making shitty games. And then we kept making games the same way, and then all of a sudden everybody loves us and we're the best in the industry. Yeah, that's what happened, I guess, from their perspective. It's weird. JD Denton writes in, and they said another example of this. Fallout New Vegas was so broken at launch that the game could not even be saved properly, among other issues. This has, of course, been completely forgotten about, as it's now often held up as the pinnacle of the Fallout series.
Yeah, it's the one people say to play.
It's weird.
Yeah, and people are... It's almost like they look back on the bugs on that one, too, as... like now retroactively, that's part of like the charm of it.
Yeah.
When it had come out, but also Fallout 76 by all means.
Oh my gosh.
Seems like another one that people have completely changed on.
Yeah.
As well.
They're doing the work. Okay, here's one
I
that
still get dogged for making my friends buy Fallout 76, and we all played it once, and I get dogged for that.
Thank
to this
God
day.
you've got
Take 'em
Highguard
back.
now, and with Highguard,
Make
it's
'em
like,
go
hey,
back.
it's free. You can't blame me, whatever. Here's one that has not changed form in a big way. I'm trying to think if there's a big update. I don't think there's DLC even. But Jacob writes in with Alien Isolation. It's interesting looking at the Metacritic reviews because it got like a 79 in both PS4 and Xbox at the time. And then 4 to 5 years later, when it got ported to Switch, it was up to an 83 for presumably like a much worse version, right? But just like culturally, we realized like, actually, that was cool. And it's still, even now, when people talk about like, what horror game should I play? It's like, Alien Isolation's pretty sweet and still kind of iconic in its way.
That one is so funny because it's like, I think if people actually played the whole game, the review might not change. It's like the things that are great about Isolation are undeniably great, which is like the aesthetic is so perfect. It still looks incredible. It is the most like well realized version of that alien environment. And the alien is very smart and cool and does a lot of cool things. That doesn't change the fact that the game is 3 times as long as it should be.
Yes.
It's like, I think if you had to like play that whole game and write a review, it might still be landing at a 79, but like that doesn't make the good parts any less good.
That is weird. Yeah, it's like games that have boosted, maybe because a lot of people have just gone back and played the first couple hours. Now, like, this rules. And I wonder, like, Fancy Graham writes in about Prey 2017, kind of a similar thing, where like Leo got into a couple years ago and he's like, this might be my favorite game of all time. This is up there. This is so good. And then he's like, I guess the back half is a little bit weak, but like still, even from the strength of the first half or the first 3/4 of Prey from 2017, that can still kind of climb the charts like that.
How about, does Metal Gear Solid 2 count?
It got 10s back in the day. And you're saying it should be getting 11s now?
No, I'm talking about a lot of people being mad, and now no one ever remembers that they didn't like the twist.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much, because I was not reading game magazines when it came out, so I don't know how much the everyone was mad was like just kind of a fun narrative versus, a Cyberpunk level back. They weren't offering refunds on it.
I think people were mad. And a lot of it too, if I remember school correctly, I think a lot of it was just like, I don't want to play some wimpy boy that has long, stupid blonde hair and he looks like a girl. Like there's a lot of kind of like homophobia baked into the rage about Raiden back then, I think.
Yeah.
But don't worry, guys. I was really cool. I don't remember being mad about it. I just remember being like, well, surely at some point I'll play a snake again. Like, I mean, this is a nice distraction, but let's get back to the snake part. But it was like, okay, sure. But I guess kind of, grappling with the twist. I wonder. And I don't know if you felt this, Jacob, but like the whole idea of Kojima being like, we're redeeming Raiden with Metal Gear Solid 4 because we're going to make him over the top cool. Like, I thought he was like, just as laughably lame in 4, just because he was doing backflips and spinning his sword around and taking down a bunch of Metal Gears and stuff. Like, I didn't think like, whoa, an action scene with this dude? Now he's the coolest. It's like, he's still a dork no matter what, I feel like.
Yeah.
But I do think my Metal Gear example was like, I think Metal Gear Solid 4 is one that was just across the board 10s when it came out. And like, I love that game. But even I'm like, in retrospect, with every year that passes, I'm like, I respect how weird it is, but I don't think it's a great game to play, right? I think is that a personal thing of kind of like that kind of star fading a little bit for 4 specifically?
I think the unanimous praise is definitely strange given what that game is. I think that almost every Kojima game could kind of fall into like, other than Metal Gear Solid 1, of just like, we've revised our take somehow, like that Death Stranding, I feel like now everyone agrees is pretty sick. I don't know if that was, even though that was so recent, it's hard for me to remember if everyone has always been like gung-ho about it.
No, I think it came out like better than some people expected, but it wasn't like oh my God, this is an all-timer that came out for most people, I don't think.
Yeah, it's just, it's like when you make really interesting singular games, the reactions are strong. And I think they usually stand up, to time. Like if you're kind of not just doing the popular thing, that's going to make your game more cool and interesting to look back on. Yeah.
Just like McGreevy writes then with, for the biggest gaming reevaluation of all time, I would like to direct your attention to the 2019, same year as Death Stranding, 2 10s. where The Outer Wilds is nowhere to be seen for the greatest game of all time. It was not celebrated enough. Yeah, Outer Wilds, I think, has been a grower. I think there's no doubt. And it was definitely
because no one played it?
It was just because no one... I mean, I played that game in 2019, and I would have been arguing... Like, I don't think anyone played it and was like, this sucks, other than you deciding that the spaceship controls were weird in the first 15 minutes and never going back.
Right.
Like, you know, I don't think it was... I've never heard anyone say Outer Wilds sucks, including in the first 6 months of its release. It was people saying, you've never heard of this game, but it is the greatest video game I've ever played. Like, that was what the reputation it had.
Yeah. It makes me think of the first Hollow Knight, where, again, it's tough to be like, maybe I'm just too focused on, you know, Game Informer being in the office and people were reviewing it and stuff, but like, I feel like when it came out, that first Hollow Knight, it was like, cool Metroidvania, got it. And then it wasn't until the Switch release that I feel like I started to hear everyone be like, no, this is one of the greatest games of all time. And it was weird that just like the same game coming on a different console, I don't know, everyone was just eager to play a handheld version of it or just spread that much more, but it just had a megaton impact on the Switch specifically. It was so weird.
I still have another one too, Wind Waker. Remember how much people hated Wind Waker, and now it's like everyone's at least third favorite Zelda game?
So Zelda, this could be the entire podcast, is just the arc of like Zelda in particular, because like Wind Waker I think scored really well. Like people who loved it back in the day, but definitely.
But there was
like,
gamer rage.
Gamer rage like crazy, and now it's beloved, and that's diluted. And like Zelda stuff, I feel like has gone different directions too. Where like Skyward Sword when it came out was 10s all over the place, wildly high scores, and now everyone's like, "What were we smoking? What were we thinking?"
I replayed that game like 4 years ago, and it used to, like in my memory, I was like one of the best. And I replayed, I was like, "This sucks. What was I thinking?" How different was my brain that I was like, perfect, 10 out of 10 art.
Okay, but did you get the one that had the Zelda 25th anniversary orchestra CD
in
it?
So good.
I did.
If you're listening to that, then you are like,
this
is the best Zelda game.
Oh, that Spirit Tracks opening track and that CD is so freaking good. I really like Skyward Sword, to be fair. And I know it's insane. It was the first 3D Zelda that I ever finished, actually. And I had a good time with it. So like, but I do understand that, you know, it's not exactly everybody's cup of tea, you know, and it's just funny how much it's fallen now, where everybody will look at this game that got perfect 10s and be like, PU.
Stinky.
It's so stinky overall.
One that I have personally experienced, and I think also represents like a larger trend, is the Yakuza games.
Yeah.
Where like I think a lot of people, the first one that I played was 7, was Like a Dragon with Ichiban. And then like since then I have gone back and played the older ones, and like it's kind of another FromSoft thing where it's like these games didn't really change what they are. I mean, it's like obviously there is the turn-based battle in Like a Dragon, which I think is better than the brawler thing that they had been doing, but it's like the writing is just as good in the early ones, and like all the things that I liked about Like a Dragon I found in the ones that are released previously, and it just kind of took us all a while to be like, wait a minute. This is really doing something. We should be paying attention here.
Those dorks screaming about it for decades were right, actually, and we apologize for our sins. Yeah,
it's totally my, like, I think maybe when y'all had Maddie on, there was the question of like, what game series do you wish you could have got into sooner?
Yeah.
And I'm like, recently I got one of those old gaming magazines from the Video Game History Foundation, and it had like a banner ad for the first Yakuza game. It's like, if I could have played Yakuza 1 when it came out and like kept up with the series, it would be my favorite series of all time. Like if I could have like
You'd have the dragon tattoo on your back.
Yeah,
for real.
Guaranteed. Jeff, Jerry Young wrote in, a man after your heart. He says, hey, it wasn't mentioned on your most anticipated show. Oh, this is a tangent, but it's worth noting. It wasn't mentioned on your most anticipated show, but wanted to urge you to check out the game called Escape from Ever After, if you're Paper Mario fans. And this game just came out like a couple days ago. I missed it, but it looks fantastic. And I've been duped before by games that look just like Paper Mario, but an indie attempt, and then are okay to play. But this one seems to be getting good reviews, so I definitely want to check out Escape from Ever After. But Jerry Young also says, hey, for reevaluation though, I want to nominate Day Is Gone. as getting a bad rap, and now in retrospect, there's a lot of Days Gone defenders, or just like the level of hate that got was kind of confusing, I think, overall.
I was confused by that. As someone who was never going to touch it because the zombie hordes looked like my worst nightmare, and I will never ever play that. I never knew what was going on over there, and I kind of just never looked, to be honest.
You're the only person on Earth who was too scared to play Days Gone, Haley.
They climb each other up. I remember that one demo they had where you're in like a mill or something, and he's running around. I saw that, and I was like, nope, I am never playing this, and I just never looked at it again.
Yeah, everybody really latched on to the stupid cutscenes and the one where riding me on your motorcycle or whatever bullshit.
Oh my god, yeah, remember that?
They called zombies freakers. It wasn't a game free of cringe. Yeah, for sure. But the thing that Haley's talking about, it was the reason to play that game, which was giant hordes that just like run over and can climb anything. And I mean, we went and did the cover story on it, so you can claim that we're biased or whatever. But they put us in like, it was like a rock quarry or something, and it was just like a sandbox of like try and live for as long as you can, and like we all played it in succession, and it was fun every time to watch the other people play it and to just try different techniques and stuff. And like that is the like, if you want to play an open world sandboxy game about zombies, well, maybe you might want to play State of Decay first, but
I think State of Decay.
But Days Gone is a very cool alternate take on that.
Yeah, no, I think
State of Decay, I guess, is another absolute one that we should be talking about. And I with that one, I feel like they still haven't completely nailed the formula for it of like that is such a grail game for me idea of like, I remember following that one and emailing those guys when they were working on it before, Microsoft bought them, and being like, please let us know when we can preview it because it looks and sounds so cool. And like, and it's it was very buggy when it came out, but like obviously had its fans, and you could see like the really cool ideas in it with that one, and obviously enough for Microsoft to buy it and then not support them enough to like figure it out for the launch of the second one.
Well,
of, like,
2 eventually got there too. Like Leo really fell in love with 2, but then with 3, I'm curious if it is that idea of like, okay, third time out of the gate, are they going to make the perfect open world zombie survival experience? Because like
sim kind of.
Yeah. I had such a good time with that first State of Decay. I love that game. But before I forget, just a thing about Days Gone and like the Sony disappointments. I think the Order 1886 is one of those that people were so angry about when it came out. They're like, what do you mean it's 4.5 hours long? F this. And maybe it's just something with like, hey, you could probably get that game for $7.99 at this point. And at $7.99, I mean, that's a pretty cool
free
experience.
on every PlayStation Online plan.
Right. But it's like, hey, it's not a great game. There's a lot of flaws in it. I understand those limitations, but like the amount of hate that got versus now, divorced from the rage of like the price of that game and how long it was. It's like, oh, it's a cool new IP from Sony. It looked freaking amazing. I still think it looks amazing.
It's still like one of the best looking games ever. And it's like, when did that come out?
Right. Yeah.
2015?
Yeah. Let's see. Poor and Curly writes in, they say, Nier came out in 2010 and no one really liked it. Even Joe Juba, the lone Joe Juba, gave it a 6.5 out of 10. Even without mentioning Automata, the release of Nier Replicant really changed the perspective on that one. I think Nier's a biggie. We all owe the Nier developers an apology. George Bear Park says it's not there yet, but I reckon in a few years people will realize that Pyre was Supergiant's best game, not Hades.
Look, me and JV Gwaltney beating this drum. Pyre has its shooters.
Do you think it's better than Hades?
Hades is not even my second favorite
really?
Supergiant game.
That's Bastion?
I think Hades is like the most fun game they've made, but like I think it's like Pyre, Bastion, Hades tied with Transistor. I mean, like, just in terms of like how the emotional impact the games have on me. Like, I think Hades is great, but it kind of goes away from my favorite things that studio does.
Just focusing on narrative. You want more visual novels from Supergiant.
Well, no, but like Pyre had, like, the gameplay system of Pyre was so cool because it's like you're basically playing basketball, and then it's like at the end you're like, hey, choose a basketball player to go to heaven. By the way, they won't be on your team anymore.
Yeah.
And so it's like you're like giving away your best player because you want them to have a good life, or keeping them even though they deserve it because you need someone who can shoot threes. Like, it's such an interesting system.
That's cool. Jacob, what about this one? And this might be tough for you to hear. A game that is both of our most anticipated game of all time back before it came out. Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Now in retrospect, is it like so clear it's the worst one? Well, 64, I guess, is tough.
Because I'm wondering where we are in the boomerang, where now are we back to like Brawl is kind of fun? Because I think that turn happened pretty quick.
Yeah.
Of people being so excited for Brawl, and then, oh, this is doing a lot of things that I don't like. Where now the nostalgia might be like, maybe I did like Subspace Emissary. And then you go back and try it. You're like, oh, no, I didn't.
Yeah, it is a great day in theory. It's like, it's just such an easy thing to be like, oh, tripping. Therefore, it's a non-competitive one, whatever. But it's like, I mean, I would much rather play Brawl than N64, even though I have so many nostalgic feelings for N64. But I think Brawl is definitely on the Nintendo front, one that's dipped. But I do feel like so many of the Nintendo games, they come out and get such high reviews. Even like World to some extent, Mario Kart World. And then it's like, in retrospect, it's like, maybe not so much. Maybe some people with Metroid Prime 4 with the reviews.
Sunshine review on release?
Good, but not like Mario good.
Because I feel like we've kind of gone in the spiral in that as well, where it was like, for a while, people were like, Sunshine's my least favorite. Thank God Galaxy went back, and now Sunshine has so many defenders, including on this podcast.
Yeah, it's a tough one to try and wrap your head around. Another one that I think is interesting is like Luigi's Mansion 1. When that came out on GameCube, I feel like at the time... haters? Oh, there were haters. Yeah. Oh. I looked, like GameSpot gave it a 7, which of course is a good score. We all know that. We wouldn't criticize that. But it was very much
like a Nintendo first party thing.
That was the idea. It was like launch game, where's my Mario 128? Where's my follow-up to Mario 64? And like, you're giving me Luigi for this short game in a mansion? And now it's just like iconic Nintendo series. But at the time, it was very much like, what is this offshoot crap? Get to the good stuff, Nintendo. And I feel like now it's just
interesting,
beloved. There's a phenomenon that I love that the podcast Into the Aether has talked a lot about that I think applies here, where they always talk about it in terms of Final Fantasy Tactics A2. So Advanced 2, right? Where they talk about that phenomenon of like games coming out in a series and maybe they're coming out rapid fire and the reviews for it is something like, I mean, this is the best one they've ever made in this series, I guess. All right, moving on. But then in retrospect, when that's the end of the series, and then you look back and be like, wait, Final Fantasy Tactics A2 is the best Final Fantasy Tactics has ever been, and we didn't appreciate it enough because now that it's like you're in the desert. And so they talk about it in terms of the A2 effect. Like, is that game getting A2'd in terms of just like, once that series stopped, you could really appreciate it that where they got to in their design at the end of it actually was the best, even though people were exhausted as they're experiencing it. And I think Luca Alberti has one that is a little bit in that arena where they say, in terms of flipped reception, one of my favorite examples is Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. The game originally came out in 2014 on Wii U to an okay Metacritic score of 83, probably tied to a lack of enthusiasm for the platform or just another platformer from Nintendo. But as the years passed, it consolidated, and it's now one of the most acclaimed 2D platformers of all time, Lucas says.
That game's great.
Yeah, but you don't appreciate it because like, all right, another Donkey Kong Country game from Retro, cool. And then when Retro is just quiet for a decade, it's like, wait a minute.
Come back.
yeah, we need more of that.
It's interesting with kind of reverse of that with like the new Super Mario Bros. Series, where I think when those were coming out, people were like, oh my gosh, look how cool this is. And now maybe we were just like beaten down by how many of them they made. But like, no, is anyone like, that's my favorite version of Mario is new Super Luigi Bros?
Literally that. And
you? Okay.
No, not me. Jeremy Parrish, back from 1UP, who's like Nintendo super fan, super smart guy when it comes to the industry and games and stuff. Huge Mario fan. And I remember he made like some ranking and he put New Super Luigi U as the best. So I think it's a little bit of that example. Like, I don't know if I can vouch for that, but like, a huge Mario fan being like, you guys are blind if you don't see that this is the best designed Mario game. I love that take. Like, I never would have thought of it, Let's see, aging poorly has a couple. Deathloop. Multiple 10 out of 10s from big name sites, was favored to be GOTY and barely talked about today.
Yeah, I feel like
weird?
no one played that.
It's weird. Ninja Gaiden Black, they say, had a 94 Metacritic in 2004, and I feel like it was undiscussed for the following 20 years. I think there's something there. They bring up Sunshine as an example, yep. But then also games that released that now shine, they mentioned Terraria. It got an 81 on Metacritic when it came out, and now it's just like iconic game, of course. They also mentioned Resident Evil 8, Resident Evil Village. They're like, it was an 82 on Metacritic, and somehow people talk about it like it was a 90 plus now. I think there's a little bit of that going on.
The characters are so strong in that, yeah.
Yeah. Or even like, I think Resident Evil 7 was a little bit of that case too. Like now in retrospect, like, oh, that's such a cool, bold take to have the first person horror focus for Resident Evil, where at the time, it was like, okay, first person kind of works. All right. And some people were really digging it, but I feel like it's just grown in a lot of people's estimation here. Pixum says Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls somewhat fit into this. They were both pretty popular and well liked, but with the time, the writing, narrative, gameplay, and direction has been cast in a much more negative light, not helped by Quantic Dream, revealed to be a very toxic workplace. I hear that. That said, I freaking love Beyond Two Souls. I think it's the most fascinating, weird thing. And Haley, I know you're with me.
You love how interesting it is.
Yes.
Dude, that's not a review.
It's my kind of review. What are you talking about? Every game is interesting. Matt Garect writes in Final Fantasy 12 saying they hated it at the time, and now in retrospect, it's like, oh wait, no, that was really cool. That combat system was cool. This one is offensive, the Juan one, and I should delete this before we even read it. But to say gaming's biggest reevaluations that are needed, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. The game has a 92 on OpenCritic. It's tied with Clair Obscur, but I feel like no one cared about this game unless you're Maximilian Dude and Kyle Bossman. Why is this? How dare you? Now, this is a situation where I understand where you're coming from. You're dead wrong, but I get it. But also, I think it's the same with a lot of these like Zelda reviews and stuff, is like, you got to think of who is being assigned to these reviews from big sites.
Who's playing them? The Ultra fans, yeah.
The people with Aerith tattoos on their butt cheeks are jumping into Rebirth. And like, so it's
the Aerith pillow on their bed and weird.
Aerith shampoo bottles, Aerith costume they wear at night.
Yeah.
And this is your reason for why he's wrong?
No, just factoring in for why the 92, but then...
I like the 2 seconds you took to think if that was true. You were like, no.
I don't think so. But it's just like, gotta factor in like why these reviews maybe, and then when it gets to the wider masses, people are like, I don't think so. Skyward Sword, stinky. Maybe Rebirth has some faults. Conceptually, maybe, I'll grant you that. The biggest that came out, that multiple people wrote in about, Brock and Alexander says, man, I bought BioShock Infinite with a 10 out of 10 hype, and now I feel like I'm the only person who still likes it.
Yeah, I played that before my brain fully developed, and I was like, hell yeah. And then I replayed it in, I want to say 2019. And some of the quote unquote commentary in that game is hard to go through and be like, oh, are you sure?
I mean,
are you sure about that?
We need to revisit it with the deepest dive, because I feel like I
would love to do a BioShock Infinite deep dive. I think that'd be so good.
I think it'd be a really interesting discussion because I really, really love that game. And it was wildly hyped. It was like 10s across the board when it finally came out. And I feel like this is maybe the biggest societal plummeter of everybody now being like, wait a minute, that sucked. It's like, still, you go back to it, like, I still think that setting in Colombia, like, to set it at the turn of the century with a floating city of the sky with skyhook zip lines everywhere and mechanical George Washington's like, this game's freaking sweet. Like, everyone needs to relax
you're describing the commercial for the game, which was really cool. But it's like, that's not what people are reevaluating. I don't, it's like, I think that would be an interesting one for us to revisit it as well. I don't think that it's the things we thought were cool are actually bad. It's that we're thinking more about the bad things, and they're so bad that it's hard to even see past them to the good things.
What are we talking about? I remember it had too much combat, is my main takeaway from thinking back in my time.
The politics of the whole thing, which I realize I'm the guy who talks about politics, but like that was BioShock's shtick.
Right.
You know, like BioShock being about like objectivism was like so interesting. And they were like, we are going to take on racial politics. And they did so catastrophically that like literally there's a slave uprising in that game. And then your character says, guess they're basically the same. You know, guess like slavery and slave uprising are two sides of the same coin is a line in that video game. And so it's like, it's just like the thing that people like about BioShock is in large part its cultural commentary. Right. And that is what is so botched in that it's hard to see past that to see all the cool stuff that I agree is cool with Columbia and Mech George Washington and stuff.
Sure. I mean, it has been a long time since I played this game, 13 years or whatever. But like, isn't the idea that it's not, I guess slavery might be good. The idea is that like, hey, there's this rebellion uprising and they took power and it turns out power corrupts any group. And then eventually that leads to a new group being corrupted. It's just the cycle of people in power. Isn't that simply what they're saying?
That is the claim the game is trying to make.
Right.
But you would maybe want to make that claim more nuanced when an enslaved group took power from their slavers. That doesn't actually seem like a power corrupts message. You know, it's like actually they were right to violently rebel because they were enslaved. You know, that's the thing. And it's like one day into the slave rebellion, Booker's like, I think I made a mistake in giving them guns. Because they killed the people who were keeping them slaves.
Okay. It's due for a revisit. I think it's flawless. Juniper Kane writes in, they say, 2014 saw the release of Wolfenstein: The New Order, the majority of Wolf Among Us, and Walking Dead Season 2, Alien Isolation, Transistor, Titanfall, Mario Kart 8. Nominated for GOTY that year alongside the actual winner were Bayonetta 2, Dark Souls 2, Hearthstone, and Shadow of Mordor, and Dragon Age Inquisition won Game of the Year. 2014 is interesting. It is the biggest slump year that I've had in my professional career, I think, for releases. But that is definitely one to look back on and be like, what was the correct choice for 2014 GOTY? Was it Dark Souls 2? The end?
I think it's Shadow of Mordor.
So?
Shadow of Mordor.
I think that one maybe has the longest like tale of like what a cool game we should have appreciated more.
Yeah. I put as my number one that year South Park Stick of Truth, so I think that's probably the answer we should go for. You want to talk about correct really politics? I stand by every scene in that game. Also, Super Smash Bros. For 3DS and Wii U came out that year, so obviously that's the correct answer. Everybody were even talking about. Tokyo Game Life upcoming reevaluation is the Virtual Boy, with Nintendo adding it to NSO with new features, and people will realize that, hey, sorry, some of these games are actually pretty good. I would love to see that. The big mea culpa for Virtual Boy. And something that Kelsey Lewin on this podcast was so excited for, just speculating, like, wouldn't it be cool if, I don't know if you saw that they're actually doing, that they're releasing unreleased games.
Oh, I didn't see that was happening.
They are doing that?
Yep, there's a couple of games,
cool.
that they're actually going to release. Not at launch, but down the line. And the best thing is, I was so confused about this Nintendo trailer, of course. It leaves you wondering what the hell is going on. But the entire time I'm watching this overview trailer of the games coming, it's like, this looks great. I'd love to play these games on Virtual Boy. I don't want to play with the stupid red filter. Like, can I treat it like they treated, like, you know, playing Game Boy games on the 3DS or something? I can turn it like grayscale. Please save my eyes.
If we're gonna reevaluate it, we're gonna do it the right way so that you guys can't rewrite history and be like, oh, actually, no, it's great, when it's not like a barcode shooting lasers into your eyes.
We're talking about
give yourself a migraine and a neck, and I want you to put that stand on the desk and you have to play it like this, all scrunched down, in order to get your face into the viewfinder. Then you guys tell me how great that actually was at the time.
Defend it! But here's the thing that's confusing, is they said, like, hey, you can play in grayscale or green scale, you can change the colors, but it's going to be an update that's coming later in the year. But the way you...
Are colors only getting invented later this year?
Maybe
as soon as we figure out the hex code, we're going to patch that.
But it gets worse, because then also the way that they tell you to do it is the stupid lens you have to look through. It's physically like a red layer, and it says just remove the lens to see without it. So I don't understand how I could remove that and it's still the update for the software wouldn't be there to make it work. It's a Nintendo solution.
That's stupid.
How stupid.
That's dumb.
We're so much smarter than they are. Sent the Prophet writes in.
I didn't talk like that. It's kind of misogynistic to assume I talk like
You're
that.
right. I just like that voice. Sent the Prophet says PS3 has been reevaluated more positively after the launch. The launch price, I get it. Like, you know, I think it definitely has its flaws, but definitely the fact that like at the end of the day, it's like, oh, I guess it outsold the 360. I feel like it was getting its ass kicked the entire generation, and then in retrospect, like, oh, I guess PS3 won. Okay, moving on. It's weird. And then Wii U.
Do you think people still hate the Wii U? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the question. I think that's enough charm.
I love the Wii U.
Because the thing is, like, there weren't enough people to go out of their way to buy it and be that disappointed by it, right? Like, if you were hardcore enough to buy it, you would find something to like about it, I feel like.
Yeah. The new games to play on it, I guess, is the only thing I like. I like the games that came out during the Wii U era. They were all heaters.
Yeah, I had a great time with those. Just like, of course, Fable, which came out technically in 2004, but we thought about it a lot as we played the Wii U, didn't we?
I was 11.
So this is your life, Haley? Is you're playing Cyberpunk and Fable 1 on your Steam Deck?
Yeah, I'm playing old games. January is my old game time. I also played Hamtaro's Ham Ham Heartbreak, and I finally beat it on the Game Boy Advance. I played that game probably 20 times as a child and never beat it because I couldn't get in the castle. And then, of course, you play it when you're an adult, and you're like, oh, I just have to give this hamster this thing, and then it's very simple, and I beat it. I was like, yay! Awesome.
Did your heart break? Did you avert the heartbreak? How does it end?
We averted the heartbreak. Spoilers for Hamtaro's Ham Ham Heartbreak. You win, and all the hamsters are in love and happy.
Ew.
And I'm also playing Pokemon Emerald, and I'm almost done a replay of Pokemon Emerald.
Jesus.
I love Pokemon Emerald. Might be my favorite Pokemon. But I just want to play old stuff. Don't you guys feel that way? I also got a little like emulator Game Boy, and something about holding a little screen. It's still LCD because I'm not an animal, but it's like just holding a little Game Boy again, and I'm in bed, and like you can lay on your side, and you don't have to go like this with your Steam Deck to try to get comfy. I'm just like this with my arms tucked in, and it makes me feel like a kid again. And like it's kind of soothing for the soul to play old-looking consoles as an adult.
Yeah,
and I've just been like super into that right now.
I've been playing a fair bit of Playdate recently too. Granted, it's like occasionally with my kid and stuff, but it's just like so satisfying to have some of those retro vibes, even just through the modern thing. But
I ordered something called an AY and Thor that's coming in like a month, and it's like the DS, like that's really souped up DS. I can't wait for that. I'm gonna play some of the DS games.
Like speaking of Into the Aether, Brendan Bigley, I feel like that's his life, is posting about the Thor.
We should definitely do a hardware review of that when it comes out.
Yeah.
The Thor?
As an excuse for you to buy us all and Thors.
Hey.
What the hell? I bought it. Now everyone thinks it's cool and they all get free ones.
Woohoo! Everybody, come on in, even
Expense
if you don't want them. Yeah, Haley, feel free to expense that. I mean, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh my God. Can we do an AY and Thor episode? That'd be fun.
That would be fun.
I can't wait.
It would just be talking about 3DS games and stuff. But feeling like a kid again, just like you start out as a kid in Fable, the original game. Does this game hold up? Speaking of games that had a lot of promise going in, is it fun to go back to?
It's clunky chunky. It's pretty clunky chunky. It's a 2004 game, but it holds up in terms of vibes. Like, wow, I love the Fable series. So the funny thing about this as well is I've never played the first Fable. I've only watched my older brother Alex play Fable 8,000 times, and then he'd never let me play, and I just had to watch him. And I have such like specific memories of this game of like, you know, in this game, you can flirt with all the girls and they get the little hearts over them. And he'd be going around trying to pick his wife. And I'd be like, go do a mission. He's like, what second? Like choosing his wife, then who to give it the wedding ring to or whatever. Like, it's just it's one of those kind of games that feels so trippy to finally play it because I'm so used to watching behind my brother's back.
Yeah.
The thing I love about Fable is it feels like you're playing with a toy while you play a game. Like, this game is very much about like, it's aimed towards kids. Let's reward the kid whenever they do something a kid would do. Like, there's all these little things like, you know, if you put on all the best haircuts, you're the hottest in the land, you get a little trophy. It's like, now you're the sexiest guy ever. And then you're like, yay. And then if you're the nicest, you get a little halo around your head and you don't want to lose it. So you keep being nice and you like get all your good boy points. All the little missions always have this kind of extra element of fun to them. Like, there's this one teacher in town who's like, anytime you find a book, bring it to me. So then every time you find a book, you have a little cutscene where he explains the premise of the book to his school class, and they're all right there. And one of the books I brought was like How to Be Sexy, and I was like, oh, and I immediately ran over to the school because I'm like, how's he gonna explain this to the kids? And he like goes up in front of them. He's like, so the book we have is How to Be oh no. He's like, I guess you like want to make sure that you're attractive. And, like he's just like trying to explain it. Like there's always that kind of extra little charm to every single element to this that makes it so fun and so memorable. And you know, you really just kind of walk in and wail on a bunch of werewolves and bandits and stuff like that. But it's more about the charm of it. And it has such a funny thing where if you're low on health, this like the wizard who like raised you is like, you're low on health. Do you have any food or potions? And he just like is saying that all the time. And I was playing this in bed next to Michael, and he was saying that over and over. And I was like obviously ignoring him because I was just fighting. And Michael goes, do you have any potions? Can you take a potion? I don't want to hear the wizard anymore. I was like, yes, sorry. So I took some potions. It's just like one of those kind of games.
It's going to repeat 1,000
so silly. Times. It's silly. Like, you know, Fable's known for being a very silly series. So I'm excited to see it replicated in 2026, like how they could make that on a large scale, because to me that silly nature is very much like a original Xbox looking kind of thing. Like I don't know how you make that in high fidelity and you keep the charm.
I mean, based on what we saw from the developer direct last week, did you watch it, Haley, for the new one? Okay. Yeah. I mean, Jeff, what do you think about everything you're showing here? We should mention the BDS boycott of Xbox is still going on, so there's a link below if you want to learn why that's happening, for their support of what's happening in Gaza. So you can check that out in the link below. But Jeff, what did you think about what they showed for the new Fable?
Mixed feelings.
Yeah,
like
I'm in the same camp.
Like the front half of that preview, whatever that they showed, was mostly combat, and I was really surprised how bad the combat looked.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it felt like when I was watching, I was like, wow, like, are they showing an early? They can't be showing an early build of what the combat looks like at this point. Like it's coming out this year. Like what is happening? It looked the animations looked very stilted. Like enemy animation was one into the next. Everything kind of just looked like it was floating. Like the gravity of it. And I went back and looked at like Fable 2 footage to be like, am I losing my mind?
Yes.
That like, has it always looked like this? And it didn't. And then you know, they highlighted like, oh, well, you can also do ranged attacks with a bow. And it's like, yeah, of course you can. Every game has had a bow for the last 10 years. And when they showed it, it looked, I was having like South of Midnight flashbacks.
I was thinking of it
in
too.
terms of like, yes, the UI, the health bars above the enemies being like my first health bar in Unity, kind of like plugin looking kind of thing. I was very confused at what I was looking at. And then they went into the town stuff and they were like, okay, there's 1,000 people who live in the town and they're all unique and they all have their own, you know, like day, you know, routine that they go through. And that's when I was starting to get more interested in like, and everything that you do, you know, like people will look at you different ways. You can buy a bunch of houses and rent them out to people, but then some people are going to think you're an asshole because you're a landlord, and you know, whereas other people are going to like the core premise when they were explaining it, which kind of made me think like, I want to just play a game where you are a hero just trying to live in your town and manage your reputation of what people think about you, other than the fact that you are the hero, because that stuff sounded really cool to me. But the way my brain processed that was like, I want to play another game that does this and just does that, because I don't know. I still very much want to check it out when it comes out, but I don't want it to come off as super negative. But when I was watching that first 10 minutes, my first thought was maybe they shouldn't have given it to the race car guys to like
Oh,
to
that
figure out
hurts for
to figure out
Playground.
the combat. But then like
Race car.
the rest of it was they're very passionate about all the city stuff and all the sim stuff that's going on there, and that was the part that looked really exciting to me and was like,
Yes.
okay, like that.
That's what people.
That's overly harsh, but
That's what
combat.
like. Whenever you think of Fable, you don't think, oh, the hitting. You think of those weird systems. Every time I die, I get a scar, and my hair changes color depending on my affiliation, and like those weird things is what I think of with Fable. So when I saw the clunky combat, I was like, oh, I hope it's not combat heavy, just so I don't have to. Like you essentially do combat to get to the cool systems, like silly nature stuff of Fable. So
Right.
I guess I wasn't the most worried when I saw the combat, but my worry is they put a lot of combat in. Because in the original Fables, it's just like very linear. They respawn every time you enter a new area. You can just run past them and not care and go do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Which doesn't seem like it's going to be in the newer Fable.
I mean, so yeah, this coming out fall 2026. It's still ambiguous. Maybe it'll be delayed, but I had the exact same journey as all you guys. And Jeff, instead of Fable 2, I went back and I looked at like the Xbox One game that was canceled called Fable Legends. It was like a 4v1 thing. And I was like, this combat looks snappier and better
than the 2026
It's
one.
so weird.
It's really
That's weird.
odd. And maybe it's still got a lot of runway in front of them, so don't want to judge it too much. But also I was thinking about South of Midnight. I'm like, South of Midnight's combat looked so much better than this. And that was, those the weakest part of that game,
Yeah.
Didn't we have those kind of similar things with Avowed as well? And like the Avowed combat is very much fine.
It's great.
But I feel like
I also thought about Avowed in terms of that too, but
yeah.
And Avowed turned out to be really fun. But I don't know if it's gonna make that miracle happen again.
I mean, the thing that got me, that I'm with you, it's like, okay, buy up the towns, you can have all these wives, make a bunch of kids, buy every business. Like that sounds great. Who doesn't love polygamy? But then the part that really put over the line was when there was like the giant, and it's like, hey, you can kill this giant, and then the giant's corpse will just be laying outside the town, and people will like react to it. It's like, okay, that's a good example. Like more stuff like that. If this game has that, and then like ho-hum combat, like, all right, I still am going to enjoy
what you do
it out.
affects the world is
Right.
like my favorite game thing of all time.
Yeah, but overall, it just looked a little stiff, little soulless. It just looked like didn't have that much personality. But
There was that scene where they were talking about the dating system.
yeah,
And then the scene they showed for it was just an NPC going like, "Thank you for the gift you gave me. Would you like to go on a date?" And it was like, you didn't want to show like a funny thing happening here?
I don't know. Haley and I read her old text when we were in the dating life, and that's how most of the texts went. I feel like, it's an odd one. I'm very curious to see how it all comes together. But do you feel like you're looking forward to it more, Haley, now that you're primed for Fable?
Yeah, I wonder if I'm almost kind of shooting myself in the foot if it doesn't have that original silly tone of what I love the series for, and it's more of kind of just let's use this IP to propel a new open world.
I mean, they're kicking chickens.
RPG.
They got some wackiness in there. They're trying to.
You can
be
kick a
silly.
chicken. You can kick a chicken. You can also do that in Zelda and stuff. So it's not the defining thing I'm looking for.
Yeah.
As much as I was interested in the sim stuff, I was like, the more examples that they gave, it's all like you can buy stuff and that's going to affect how people think about you, or you can kick a chicken, and it's like, I want more avenues for emergent kind of storytelling and affecting my reputation.
Yeah.
And just I have a lot of money because I went and did a lot of combat that wasn't very fun.
Right.
When I think about an IP that I want that kind of treatment to, it is Fable. So if they're able to pull that off, it'd be really cool.
Yeah. The weird thing is, for all this stuff, like Cairn, the new Double Fine game, and all this stuff in the Developer Direct, Beast of Reincarnation, the Game Freak game, they're like, oh no, day one on PS5. It's like we're at this point now. We're not going to beat around the bush. It's just coming day one PS5. Let's move on. So here we go. Speaking of moving on, Haley, can you help me with this? Highguard. It was revealed during the Game Awards. The sensation, if I recall, was like, oh, not the most exciting closer, but sure, some free-to-play thing that Keeley was excited about it because he played it and liked it, and it's from a bunch of former...
Keeley needs to be quiet about this. He's not helping.
This is the journey that I need you to help me unpack, because then it was like, some former Respawn developers worked on Apex Legends and Titanfall. So he's like, hey, Apex Legends Shadow dropped, and that was a huge thing. And let's give this indie game a chance. Let's put it at the grand finale for the Game Awards. And now it seems like that is just the overwhelming conversation is like, this game's just getting dunked on because Keighley gave it a prime slot. And it drives me insane. Like the developers are being dragged through the mud because people are angry at Jeff Keighley. Like, I
don't think it's necessarily even just that. I think like right now the internet has a problem with reactionary negative clickbait content getting a lot of views. So it's like, it's almost like self-fulfilling prophecy of people want it to be like that. Like when I was first booting this up, it had like 168 negative reviews. And I was like, oh. And then I checked like 5 hours later, and it was like 12,000 negative reviews. And I'm like, okay, you guys have not played this. It's been out for an hour and like 50 minutes, and there's like 10,000 something negative reviews. It's very much trying to create a narrative of this sucks before you even play it, LOL Concord kind of energy, which is not fair at all, I don't think. And
no,
it's just in bad faith.
Weird. It's driving me nuts. It's the idea of just like, oh, PlayStation tried this with Concord and it failed, so therefore we want more single-player games, so let's dunk on this. Like, this game doesn't need to be the freaking game of the year, but like the level of hate that it's getting for, it seems like a solidly made free-to-play thing. Like, it's gross.
It's extremely solidly made. There's absolutely nothing about this that indicates that it's like a big fat stinker right off the bat, to me at least. Like, I've played about 10 or 11 hours of it so far. Yeah, I was able to play solo and then also with like a 3-stack, so that was really fun to kind of have both experiences. This game's interesting. It definitely has the Apex Legends DNA in there, obviously, like the way you collect loot and stuff like that. The loot looks similar, but it's almost kind of like a combination of a bunch of different game modes that all happen within the same game space. So, it's a defense thing. So you always start out the phase defending your base, and you pick up the base, and that kind of determines what the map will look like. So you start out, you can reinforce walls, you get yourself all kind of set up, and the whole point is you're trying to raid the other team, and they're trying to raid your base. So as soon as you set up your defenses a little bit, you go into you collect loot phase, and you go out, and theoretically you could just push to the other side of the map and start fighting right away if you want, but you're not kind of inclined to, because then you'll have gray shields and they'll have blue shields and they'll have better guns, blah, blah, blah. But there were some games where you could kind of tell they've gotten more experience and they kind of know the loadouts and stuff, that like I had the other team showing up near our base in the gear up phase when we're still kind of checking out the lay of the land, and they're pushing us already. So that kind of is kind of hard. Like, I don't know how they're going to balance that later on for people that can play it perfectly and just immediately push and the other team doesn't know what to do.
Right.
But anyways, so then you kind of go to a capture the flag sort of mid-game phase, and this thing called the shield breaker pops out. It's a sword, and what you have to do is grab that, go to the enemy's base, and stick it in their dome to start a raid to push into the other team's base. And then each base has like 100 health. And then once you do that, you do just like a PvP deathmatch thing in their base and try to like do control point captures. And then if you don't do anything during that raid, then your side loses health. So it's not just like you bombard, just always raiding, and it kind of feels like a bit too aggressive. It's like if you push and then you kind of fail in the capture point phase, your base also takes 30 health. So you get punished for not really sealing the deal and finishing it. So yeah, it's kind of like moving through those phases. A lot of what I really hated about Apex was because like the guns in Apex are so good. Titanfall 2 is one of my favorite games, and like the guns in that are really just the guns in Titanfall. And the guns feel so good. I absolutely love the movement of the characters. I love all their abilities. I feel like I wouldn't see anybody for like 25 minutes. I got sniped across the map. I go back to the loading screen. It takes 20 minutes to see another human being again.
Really?
You know what I mean? I didn't love the battle royale vibe of it too much, and I like battle royales. But something about Apex just always kind of felt like, oh my God, I haven't seen anybody and it's been like 17 minutes. I'm bored. And you're just running around and but here, obviously they have the mount system. So even though you have a huge map, there's only 6 people in it. And the mounts kind of act as a way to speed across the map really fast. You can hop on and off your mount really, really fast. So like repositioning yourself around a wall feels insane. Like you could essentially just spawn a horse out of your ass, gallop around a corner, and then despawn the horse, and you have like in a way better position around the corner. And then another really specific detail that I think is like a core balancing thing is if you shoot the other team's mount, it despawns it and they take a huge stagger animation where they like fall off the horse and they're kind of like, and that's when 90% of the kills happen, it kind of feels like, is if they happen to stagger you on your mount, then they can just absolutely rail you with bullets while you're in your 2.5 second stagger animation and then you die. So it also kind of incentivizes you to not just ride your mount in circles around somebody shooting at them. You kind of have to choose the best time to despawn your mount and then get engaged in the fight, like foot to foot combat style.
Yeah.
It's doing a lot, but like overall, what's tough with live service games is I think my cup runneth over. Like even if a game's really good and I'm like, this is solid, like I'm having a good time with it. Am I going to play it in 2 months? I don't know. Like I really liked Arc Raiders. I liked Battlefield 6. I haven't played either of those in a few weeks. Like, you know what I mean? It's just kind of oversaturated market, so I think sometimes games struggle with that. But yeah, I don't really get the LOL Concord Rager hate over this because I certainly don't see it. It's a very solid shooter game.
Yeah. Are you being wooed too much by the horses, do you think? Are you into like customizing the horse? Is this the whole thing?
I do have to be conscientious about the fact that I can ride a horse. You can, right off the bat, you get a horse, a bear, or a panther, and it does slap to like kick your panther and it's like and then like goes into combat like yeah, like it just feels sick, like that's always gonna feel good. But you know, they give you the free battle pass for the first battle pass is free. They say this one's on us, so here's kind of earning skins for your bear or whatever. Was I extremely tempted to buy like a pretty horse skin right off the bat? Yeah, but I rubbed my 2 brain cells together and went, you might not be playing this in a week. Don't spend money on the horse skin. So I didn't, but they got some good horse skins.
Yeah. I'm curious to see like how the concurrent players stick around. Like right now there's like 13,000 people playing. So like people are playing it. Maybe it's just because it's the game to dunk on, but it's just such a confusing game to dunk on. I don't get it.
It's a confusing game to dunk on.
So maybe,
I think it's just,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe just
it gets clicks to hate on things, I think, genuinely on the internet
we need
now.
a new punching bag. But yeah, maybe just enough people are playing it out of curiosity. It's in enough headlines out there that it could spread and people would try to get their friends into it. But it's just, it's nearly impossible, I think, to get some friends into a new, free-to-play shooter at this point.
I had to drag my friends out of the Overwatch lobby and get them in here. And I quizzed them at the end. I said, would you play this again? They said, yeah, they would. I was like, well, there you go.
All right. Mission accomplished, Highguard. Way to go.
Yeah.
And you have to tell us legally if you do go back and play it, please.
I think I will. Okay. Like, I have the little brainworm in my head that makes me want to play it even after this call. Like, that brainworm's there, which is important.
We tell them we said hello. Okay. Hey, Jacob, we talked about Perfect Tides last week, or recently on the podcast. You went back and played the original game after finishing Station to Station? What is your wild life
so
like?
I beat Station to Station, and then I also beat Perfect Tides 1.
Whoa. Okay, first of all, Station to Station, it wrapped up. Had your thoughts changed since the last podcast recording about it?
It's so good, dude.
Really?
It's like, it really, I think it's like same level as Consume Me for me in terms of how much I like it, and that was my number 3 game last year.
Jesus.
I think it just like I think it has the best writing out of any of these memoir style games that I've played, and it's even though it is it is less creative in the mechanics than Consume Me is, it is still like really playful with just the form of being a game, and I find the animation style also so charming in it. So yeah, I really liked Station to Station, and then it was like, well, I care about this character now. I care about Mara Whitefish, and Station to Station, she's 18, and the original Perfect Tide, she's 16, and there were a lot of things that were like referenced from in Station to Station that I was like, I want to find out about that. And so I went back and played the original game, basically because I was like, I'm in on this character's life now. I just want to know the things that happened to her.
Yeah, and how does it compare? Do you recommend going back if you like Station to Station?
I would recommend people do the same thing that I did of start with Station to Station, because Perfect Tides is game-wise pretty rough with the adventure. Like, Kelsey was talking a little bit about like the old school style adventure game stuff in station to station. I did not have too much trouble with that. I followed a walkthrough the entire way through Perfect Tides. I found it like much harder to kind of intuit what I needed to do or where I needed to go. And also the story is much smaller. It's just more kind of things happen to her in station to station in a way that is more immediately grabbing. And so like it is, I don't think I would have finished this. I mean, I know because I started Perfect Tides, you know, like a year ago, and I didn't make it very far in. And I needed the like buy-in on the protagonist's life to have the motivation to come back and see it through.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm glad it's landed with you. Surely other people should know about this. It's still a super small game for station to station.
I looked at the number. Yeah, the number of reviews for station to station is crushing, and I know it just came out like, you know, last week or whatever. But like, it is so good. It is really, really good, and a game that if you like these sort of things, like. It's just like I laughed out loud so many times playing the game, and it gets to like really emotionally exciting places.
Yeah,
it's the best.
That's sweet.
I downloaded it after watching or listening to the episode last week. So I'm excited to
play it. Kelsey brought up a karaoke scene, and I had not got there yet. I cannot even. Like she was not underselling it. It's something that I've never seen a game do before, and it's very fun.
All right, I'm very curious. It's just on Steam for Perfect Tides, station to station there. Jeffem, Mr. Space, Mr. Warlord, Mr. Baby Trading Simulator?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is from Strange Scaffold, the studio that Jacob will not shut up about every day with the Strange Scaffold love.
I haven't played their last like 3 games, so I think you have to stop playing.
Well, that's on them because they release a game every week. But I Am Your Beast is Jacob's favorite. But Jeff, is this just a sim stock trading game? What is this freaky thing?
And roguelike. Yeah, it's a very kind of focused experience for a roguelike. They're the roguelikes that I like Balatro, where I will play them forever, and they have just infinite depth that you can keep going back to. And then there are the ones that, you'll play 5 or 10 hours and have a good time, and you appreciate it because it is a weird, completely unique take on what a roguelike type of game can be. And if you couldn't tell from the title, Space Warlord's Baby Trading Simulator falls into the latter. And it is essentially a stock market roguelike game where each day you're going to pick a baby, because it takes place in the future where basically computers have figured out they can tell you any event that's going to happen. But the only thing that they can't predict is what's going to happen during a baby's life. But apparently it can sim it out. And so all speculative trading in like the universe coalesces on betting on babies basically through a stock market. And so each day you're going to pick a baby, and then it's going to like sim out its life over the course of like 2 minutes. And you're trying to, buy when the stock is low and sell when it's high. But like every 2 or 3 seconds, an event happens in the baby's life, and it just flashes up like, okay, they got a promotion at their job. And so then like, well, you start jamming on like the buy button before the jump because it's a good thing. So the price is going to jump. And so you jam on it and you try and get as many stock as you can. And then once it gets up, you usually dump it before the next thing happens, because all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, they were evicted from, the corporation that owns the planet that they live on. And then, it's going to dump, way down. And so like, in terms of a stock trading game, it's very accurate in the sense that like, if you were just playing on, like investing normally like you would in the stock market, you have no idea what's going to happen. Like you would be losing your money 50% of the time, but they build in, other systems that kind of help you game it as you go. You can hire advisors, which will give you small pieces of information of like, well, the highest stock that this baby's going to get is like between 10,000 and 15,000. And so then you're figuring out like as you're going, it starts at like 100 and it's like, okay, I'm just going to buy now because I know it's going to get up at least that high. But the other thing about trading on babies is that once they get to the end of their life and they die, the stock immediately goes to zero, and any stock that you are still holding is worthless. And so like, there's this extra incentive of you have to sell it off. You can also short babies, which works just like
Why are we saying baby? Why aren't we just saying people? Like, don't they grow into people?
I like
they're
that
aliens.
it's babies.
Yes, they're not babies the whole time, but but they start as the baby.
Hang on,
That's what you're
Do you
starting
ever
with.
think that people are making these games just to make you say things like this on podcasts?
If they are, this is the one. Yes. But the shorting mechanism works exactly like shorting in real life, where you basically borrow a bunch of stock and you're hoping it will go lower because you'll make the difference. But you have to hold on to it for a certain amount of time before you can sell it. And then you have to sell it off within a certain amount of time. Otherwise, it auto sells at the end. So invariably, you'll be like, oh my God, this baby or this teen adult alien is worth 80,000 right now. It's obviously going to go lower than that. And then it will go up to like 300,000 and you'll run out of time and you'll lose all your money. And it's that's baby trading.
That's baby trading.
Question. I have a question about baby trading. Is it only based on the baby's economic value, or is like if they have a personal L, like their girlfriend dumps them, would their stock go down?
It's yes. Well, and so like when you're picking a baby, the first thing that you do is you pick a world that the babies live on, and all the worlds are themed different things. So there's like basically like a reality TV world, and so the events are, it might be like the baby cheats on with their best friend's wife or whatever, and that's actually a good thing because on that planet, it's like the drama is good, and so like each planet has its own thing, and each planet also basically the trading arc is different. Like one planet, it goes up and down very steadily. Other ones, it'll go up and up and up, and then it will just crash out. And so it introduces some variety that way as well. You can make side bets on things. They come up with a lot of ways to kind of just like extend this formula for a little bit longer. Like you'll get 10 hours of enjoyment out of it and a lot of, goofy stuff. And
so I'm just trying to figure out that level of fun novelty or like well-designed cool game.
Well-designed cool novelty.
Great. Love it.
Is the answer, yes.
Sweet. Space Warlord Baby Trading Simulator on Xbox and Steam.
Did you ever have a baby that was worth millions and then it got hit by a truck or something?
It happens all the time.
Yeah. And then you're just like, ah!
There's lots of tragedies where you're like, I'll just wait one more event. And then they get like poison cloud radiation and it, or it'll dump a bunch and you'll be like, no, they can come back from this, and it'll dump more and it'll dump more. And it's like, oh, well now I have to hold on to it and hope that it comes back. It's a great game to convince you not to try day trading in the real world.
Yeah. Smart. We need more of that.
Yeah.
I think day traders are babies. I don't want to get political here, Jacob, but it's just a little thought I was thinking about recently. Hey, Haley, how does this whole thing operate? I've been meaning to ask you.
www.patreon.com.
Yeah, so people
Smile?
just like they
With
go
a smile?
You smile, and you go there, and you find a tier that's right for you. If you want to support independent games media, you enjoy what MinnMax has been growing into here, you can help support us in a big way. We're in the process of hiring a production assistant, but you can jump in at patreon.com/MinnMax with 2 N's and support this entire independent operation. And we have something exciting happening this here Friday. Jacob Geller is getting on an airplane and he's coming to the studio.
Yay!
We're rallying the crews for a big Giant Bomb Cross MinnMax Ice Out charity stream from Minneapolis, from the studio. So Jeff Grubb and Dan Reichert, representing Giant Bomb, will be clearly on one half of the table. Jacob and I will be on the other half of the table. And we're going to be raising money to help the situation here in Minneapolis. Specifically, there is a nonprofit that's called Veep. And they've been doing like mobile food pantries, making sure people are getting food they need. And, we talked to them today on the phone, and the idea of so many people of color and immigrants in Minneapolis are terrorized, horrified to leave their house for the fear that they'll just be abducted off the street, harassed, families will be torn apart. And so like a lot of families just are not coming for their appointments to pick up food from this food pantry because it's just not safe. And so Veep is stepping up. And so they've always done mobile food pantries. They're doing even more. They're doing it now 6 days a week. And so we're raising money to help support them. This money is going to make a huge impact. And specifically, they're working with for helping people with rent assistance. They've been doing this for years and years and years, but they're like, this is the biggie, is so many people have not been able to work this week because they are scared to leave their houses, and rent is due on February 1st. And so we can really make a dent and help people in the cities, keep families together safely. Realistically, that's where we're at here. And so the URL is bit.ly/iceoutminneapolis if you want to make a donation. Otherwise, tune in this Friday, 5 p.m. Central, when we start this charity stream. We're going to be playing some bad games, some good games later on in the stream. Jacob, how are you feeling about this quick turnaround here?
I can't wait. I mean, I love the chance to do anything in studio, and specifically this. It will be a blast.
Yeah.
I guess I was on the Bombcast like an SGF,
right?
But like
right.
That's kind of like a weird other thing. So I'm excited to just kind of hang out with the guys.
Oh, cool guy time. Saturday Night Live, it's going to be on everything channel-wise. It's going to be on our YouTube channel, going to be on our Twitch channel. It's going to be on Giant Bomb's Twitch channel, Giant Bomb's YouTube channel. So have your pick of the litter, everybody. We'd appreciate you jumping in. But also shout out to everybody who's donated so far. Like crunch the numbers is pretty wild. But like if you include Give to the Max from last year, where we raised money for the Immigrant Law Center in Minnesota, where people have still been donating to that. We rallied again for that. Jacob did a big donation drive for the National Immigration Law Center for his new video that dropped on his channel. Leo did a marathon stream of Hitman 3 to raise money for MIRAC here in the cities. And so, yeah, Jacob, you did the math, right? It's like over $200,000 total. If you combine all these efforts to help immigrants
there was just, not even counting the Give to the Max, like over like 3 days last week, you did the just share this post, Leo did his charity stream, and I did mine, and it was like $60,000 in like 30 hours. Like it was, and without even doing like a big charity stream.
Yeah. So thank you everybody who's been generous so far. We understand if you're tapped, you can't donate anymore. I totally get it. But hopefully we'll find some new audiences out there on Twitch and Giant Bomb and stuff, and help people out in Minneapolis here. Thank you for the folks that are helping us out, like I Am 8-Bit. I Am 8-Bit wants you to know about the wonderful collections and the wonderful online store. They're getting restocked and new stuff for Rocket League. They have a whole Rocket League collection, which is freaking sweet. They have the Remedy 30th Anniversary collection, also freaking sweet. The Super Hexagon vinyl, which I think I'd have anything of that I Am 8-Bit store. It's insane that I don't have the Super Hexagon vinyl or the Grim Fandango vinyl. Like two of like my favorite soundtracks of all time. I of course need to jump in there and get it. And I can use the promo code Champagne Dreams for 10% off of everything under $100. Jump in, support I Am 8-Bit, because I Am 8-Bit supports the MinnMax community in a huge way by shipping out a prize each and every week to whoever submits the best question for Question of the Week. They submit their questions over on Patreon. You support us at any tier. You can jump in and submit a question. Our favorite question this week wins the vinyl soundtrack to Blue Eye Samurai.
Love that show.
There we go, from I Am 8-Bit. So check out that vinyl, but they'll just be shipping it out of the kindness of their hearts. So use that promo code Champagne Dreams, link in the description. Keep them around because they've been very good to the MinnMax community. All right, you ready for questions?
Yeah.
Kenneth Hamilton writes in this, I think I'm most fascinated, of all the things on earth apparently, by specific characters that have captured the hearts of gamers without any commercial success of their own. As an example, take Knights from Sega. Whenever he appears in a Sonic crossover game, everyone's like, oh, God bless him, our proverbial son has returned. Meanwhile, point me to one person who has actively ever played a Knights game. Ever. That is true. It's the only game franchise where not a single, even the developers never played the Knights games. What other examples of characters that are iconic, but the games themselves just like, no one actually played that. No one know about that thing.
Am I just like a total fool for saying Tron Bonne?
Yeah, you're an idiot.
Because I've never played any of those. Like she's from Mega Man, right?
Mega Man Legends. It's Mega Man Volnut. It's a completely different Mega Man universe. Obviously, it's the lame other Mega Man games, and then the cool Mega Man Legends universe.
It's like I don't think I've ever even seen a screenshot of her in a game that's not a Marvel vs. Capcom game. Like I don't know what she looks like in her own game.
Well,
I turned at one for like 12 hours awesome. When I painted that painting for our art show thing.
Yeah, Haley's art. That's exactly what she looks like in the game. So I guess maybe. I mean, I would love to see sales totals for Mega Man Legends. Like they weren't over the moon. There's a reason that they're not still cranking them out or making the remasters or remakes that they obviously should over there. But that's good. That's good. I think that's a good recipe is like crossover fighting game stuff. Like I was thinking of a little bit, God bless his heart, but Ness, I remember playing Smash on 64 and I was like, who is this little kid? What is this game called? Earthbound? And I guess a little bit with Fire Emblem and stuff. And we wise up, we learned about the great games, but I think there's characters like that where it's like, of all the Smash characters, most people don't know what the hell Ness is from. These kids playing Smash these days.
Like Game & Watch. If we want to be really smart ass with it.
Yeah, I guess there's a lot of freaks in that batch.
We were a Blinks the Cat household, and I feel like I was much older before I realized that no one likes Blinks the Cat, but I love him.
She like dropping Blinks' catchphrases, elementary and stuff. Yeah,
I viewed him like a Sonic or Mario. I was like, he's amazing, because I had so few games and like half of them were Blinks the Cat. That I was like, it's Blinks the Cat. And then I didn't realize that later on you'd say that and they'd be like, what are those games? You're like, what? And you do the whole, you don't know Blinks the Cat, and then I look it up and realize that I was in the minority and no one knew really talked about
You're
Blinks
messing with me, right? Come on. No way you don't know who Blinks the Cat. The Time Sweeper?
Also, Ty the Tasmanian Tiger was another one. I always played those games, and then no one liked those or talked about them ever.
I mean, obviously, we all love the character Leisure Suit Larry, but how many of us have actually played a Leisure Suit Larry?
Yeah, that's fair. I was thinking of another one, like Parappa, the rapper. Iconic. Great design. You think history of PlayStation, you think Parappa. I looked up for Parappa the Rapper 1 here. Total lifetime sales was 1.6 million. Which, just to get like a frame of reference, I was looking into it. Just on Switch alone, the video game called Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm Trilogy sold 1.73 million. So it sold more than Parappa the Rapper. I don't see t-shirts about Naruto anywhere. That's probably not true. But
Parappa the Rapper just is like fun to say.
Yeah.
So you just say it over and over because it's fun to say.
Fun to rap.
It has
those
memeable
rhymes.
moments, so it's in the zeitgeist, and the art of that game is so like skate shirt coded. Like, just put it on any skate shirt and a dude will wear it.
Yeah, it's the best. I agree.
It was the best.
Jeff, were you thinking of one too?
No.
Good. Gary writes in. Gary says, "What are your guys's and gals' purchasing habits like? Do you hyperfixate on a product and research everything up front? Or are you okay with purchasing something large on a whim?"
I just bought this new chair and I probably watched 8,000 videos before I landed on it. It's the Liber Nobo, and it has a button on the side that does a massage. It just moves around a little bit. But it also, like, what's really cool about it is, like, when you lean back, everything moves back with you, and it keeps your, you probably can hear me.
Oh my God,
it keeps your spine
horizontal.
supported.
How often are you doing that? When your therapist comes to talk to you when you're podcasting?
Should I just podcast from prone?
Leo does.
Yeah, it worked for Leo that one time.
That's
true. But I'm having really bad back problems just because I'm too sedentary. I should have a standing desk that probably would have been the better investment, but I don't want to touch the wires, you guys. So instead, I bought a new chair.
It's good.
I love it. It's like you can adjust it so that it changes the curve of where the curve is. So if I find myself kind of slouching, I just move the seat up, and I can sit straight up and not feel like I want to do this. I usually lean forward off my chair and work, but I can actually just sit up straight.
Sweet.
I recommend.
Nice.
Yeah, I watched so many videos before I bought it.
I would love to talk to someone who is able to make a big purchase without like hyperfixating on it, because I like you like what if you needed to buy like a new TV.
Yeah,
like,
I would
do it?
Google best TVs 2025 and then look at the prices and say this one's fine. I literally just did that for
Is that what you do?
a monitor. Yeah. Like I just got this new computer monitor. I cannot even tell you what it is.
You don't watch like somebody comparing all the models video or something?
I will Google maybe 2 things, and then honestly I just went in the Discord into the PC hardware channel. I was like, what's a good monitor? And then somebody mentioned this one, like, oh, I saw that name somewhere else. Okay. I'm not gonna get it and be like, this is 3% worse than it could. Whatever. It looks good. Let's move on.
To be clear, I think you're probably right. Like, okay. I think that is a good and normal way, especially if you get like a recommendation from a real person.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what like that's why Reddit was the best place, and now it's like full of bots. But it makes me sick how I can't do. Where I'm going on like Wirecutter best trash can. Like, it's like, what's wrong with me?
Stop doing it.
The best trash can's pretty bad. Yeah, it took me 10 years, I think, to buy a new television, a 4K TV, and I finally did it. That is like probably once a year I would research them and go to our ratings without an A, rtings.com is like nirvana for if you want to over obsess about television ratings. And I would go there and I'd research for like 3 days and then come to the conclusion that I can't find one that I love, and then just put it off for another year. And I did that for like 10 years and finally broke through and got a new one. But yeah, everything, our air fryer broke, and it was like, now I have to emergency research air fryers. I lost an entire night to that crap. It's rough.
It's fun though. It's fun. I think it's fun. It's like, who gets my money? Who's the best?
It was the like sickness that you can get into where like we had to get like a new mattress. And it's like you just completely lose perspective. So where like there was one day that I woke up and I was like, I was like looking at this community on Reddit, and it's people who are like building their own, where they just like layer like different pads. And Annie was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you want to build your own mattress? And then we got the second cheapest one from Costco, and it's great. And like no regrets, of just like not the cheapest one, the next to the cheapest one, and thumbs up. But it like you can, buying like a couch for a house, you get maybe it is normal to spend $9,000 on a couch.
Oh
you
my
start
God.
saying things like
You
that
get gaslit.
Yeah.
Oh. How do you think I ended up building my own couch, Jacob?
There's nails sticking out of the cushions still, but by God, it was cheap.
I remember when I was researching a mattress, and I remember I stumbled across, it was like in our mattress or something. There's a guy that reviews mattresses, and he's like a legend in that subreddit. I wish I could remember his name. And he essentially has reviewed every single mattress on the market in like multiple scales, and one of the scales was how good the mattresses are to have sex on.
Oh,
and he's like, I have personally tested every mattress, and he's like, along with like comfortability, firmness, blah blah blah. At the bottom it would just be like sex rating. It would be like 2.1. He's like, not good. And then he'd go to the next one. It was so funny. Every mattress ever made.
But it's not fair. You'd have to keep the same partner, or else your review scale is completely thrown off.
Otherwise you have to start over.
Yeah.
Or just I guess so. I guess no one questioned his data collection purity if he was making sure those
I'm questioning
constant.
Yeah, don't worry. I've had sex with myself on every mattress available.
Yeah, exactly. But I remember just stumbling upon that, and it felt like such a treasure trove of like, wow, the internet's crazy. Because every single post he had, like tens of thousands of upvotes. He was the king of mattresses, and everyone trusted him. And he would get added and be like, what do you think about this one? He goes, I reviewed that back in 2017, blah, blah, blah. And he just like knew every detail about the mattress. He slept on everything. It was fascinating.
Gets our antenna, indeed. The most I've ever got into this is like buying a winter coat. It's really tough because like every review is like, it's warm. Like, what does that mean? Are we talking Minnesota warm? Like, there's such a range there. I need like no joking.
I don't think I could order a coat online. I'd be too nervous.
Yeah.
I'm legit worried about coming to Minnesota, even though I'm essentially getting out of the airport, going to your house, and then leaving your house to go back to the airport. I'm still like, I don't have a winter coat built for like -10 or whatever it is there.
Oh, all right. We got some extra. We'll throw it on you.
The coldest it gets here is like 18 degrees one day a year. You know, it's like you don't need those hard freeze coats.
Yeah, you'll be fine. Let's see. Luciano Camasetto writes in, says, do you ever think about who's listening when you critique a game? Does that ever give you pause thinking that maybe someone that worked on a game you're talking about is a MinnMax fan and listens? It is a terrifying thing, and I wish they would not listen.
I wish they would not listen. Please don't listen.
But that's, I mean, I don't know how you guys are doing, but that's definitely, like, that's the job, is to talk about it as if they are not. But it is very alarming when I get messages after the fact, like, hey, I worked on that game. Thanks for talking about it. It's always like, no, it's always polite. But it's always like, oh my God, I remember being a dick about some petty thing with that conversation. But like, all right.
I'm terrified for the day like a new client comes to me and they don't know I'm a podcaster or something yet. And then they're like, oh, I worked on X. And I'm like, oh no. Like, I remember when, I hope they never, like, I'll just always think they're going to stumble upon the video where I talked poorly about their game they worked hard and loved or something.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a fear.
I try to just assume that I am not popular enough, or, you know, that people just don't know or will not care about what I say. And then I just try and be as honest as possible.
I also go into every podcast with the mindset that people won't care about what Jeffem says. I remember,
thanks, boss.
There was there's one time where like somebody from the industry, I'll keep this vague, but I talked a lot about like this company and game and stuff, and then someone from the industry that I know like listened to it and sent me some text about it afterwards, and he said the phrase, I was impressed by your impartiality. Which I think is a way of saying like you're being a dick, even though we're friendly. And I told Leo that story, and he's like, you should put that as like the pull quote from MinnMax. It's like, we'll even be cruel about things where we're friendly with people.
Our integrity is so good, we'll piss people we know off a little.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I do think, I think this is part of being an artist. If you're lucky enough to put out something that people are talking about, you just have to make yourself kind of be like, there's some, I was trying to find the source of it and I can't. I think they said it on like a recent blank check, but it's like, you know, the game I made is not the game they're playing or whatever, you know, of just like, I know what this means to me and I'm going to hear people talk about it. And you just, you know, it's like that's the kind of my perspective on it, is just like, I would hope that people have enough respect for the thing that I'm making that they're going to talk about it honestly. And I think I would be, you know, the greatest gift you can give someone is like really critically thinking about the art that they made.
Yeah.
Is how I feel. And so, you know, it's like, you know, it totally, you don't want to be, you know, mean to people or whatever. But I also think if they're an artist and they're really invested in it, I think they probably want people to take their thing seriously, even if they end up not liking it that much.
Yeah.
Like earlier when Ben and I said Skyward Sword stinky, and then like did the mime for stink in front of our nose. Right. Like, what if a Skyward Sword dev heard
That's
that?
kind of like the greatest gift you could give.
Is that the greatest gift?
Is doing the stinky face.
I was imagining a really big poo-poo too when I was making this stinky face. He watched the entire podcast. He doesn't understand English, but he was just enthralled. Dominic Sachoki writes in, they say, hello, mini sodas. Ben, I've heard your spiel for New Show Plus so many times, I have to ask, when will we have a vote option that's get into Sea of Thieves? This is the end screen at the end of New Show Plus where I say, vote for us to do an exercise show, get into Sea of Thieves. Dominic, the joke's on you. We did put Sea of Thieves in the poll. It was the show, of course, called Sea of Thieves Adventures on July 5th, 2021, and it lost the poll. So I remember when we did that.
That's your last chance.
Yeah.
Didn't we also
5
do
years
something
ago
with like eating a banana like they do in Sea of Thieves? Wasn't that a show we pitched? Remember when the trailer they eat a banana, it's like still peeled and they go hop, 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 hop. I remember talking in a meeting about it. We're like, should we try to eat the banana like that? Maybe we never took it anywhere.
Thankfully, we've all forgotten what that lengthy banana conversation was.
Banana podcast, bring it back.
Hey, you guys remember? He should be on this podcast to talk about it, but there's old Game Informer lore that Jeffem could talk about when they were coming up with the Game Informer site. And they're like, maybe we should give the Game Informer online presence a different name than the magazine and make it like a whole separate thing. And everyone was spitballing names like, oh, do we call it Polygon? All this stuff, And then Ben Reeves pitched that they should call it Banana Cabinet. And, and it was consistently brought up every time like Ben Reeves had an idea. Like, yeah, Ben Reeves, the same guy who said we should call the site Banana Cabinet. And like, I always felt so bad for Reeves. Like, he was joking, you idiots.
One joke, yeah.
You let the man make a joke 17 years ago. Jesus Christ.
Oh, I love that.
Hypnos, right?
And who knows? It could have been popular.
It could have really cut. I mean, it would have been
worked.
notable. I can envision it now.
All credits like from Banana. I want to say Banana Hammock.
I do too.
Banana Cabinet.
Were you in that meeting, Jeffem?
No.
Oh, is it before your time? Okay.
Or I don't remember.
Okay. Interesting. Convenient.
Don't hold me to it.
Okay.
I do not recall being in any meeting.
Okay, mister. And just to be clear, do you eat bananas with the skin on? Anyways, Hypnos writes in, and Hypnos asks, what makes the people of Minnesota and Minneapolis so uniquely incredible at fighting against what's happening and protecting our neighbors? Real question. Would love your perspective. Thanks for putting the whole country on your backs. Thanks, Hypnos, for the abrupt turn. Yeah, I'm curious to hear outsiders' take on the perception, because it's tough to wrap my mind around. Because in my mind, I love Minnesota and I love Minneapolis a lot. I feel like we get a lot of love. Like, I guess we're unique. Maybe the accent helps. But I just keep trying to think about, like, if this was Delaware, if ice was just flooding Delaware, like, I think people are alike all over and people rally together no matter what. Like, Jeff, am I nuts for that?
Yeah, I think that was going to be the first thing that I said. That I don't know that we're that outstanding. I feel like it's, to me, like the Minnesota nice thing, which probably carries a lot of weight for people because that's probably the only thing they've ever heard about Minnesota.
Right.
Is like, the thing that's nice is we stand up for each other and support each other. And I don't think that either is unique to Minnesota. I would at least hope that most communities still feel that way and would respond that way to this happening to people in their community.
I mean, I do want to. I also hope that this would happen anywhere. I mean, it's like ICE was in Durham and Raleigh, and there was huge mobilization. But do not discount the level of activism that happened around George Floyd and like those protests, and like those people, unless they have been disappeared by the government, are still there, and like those lines of communication are still there. And so like your city has experienced something like this before, and people have learned how to communicate in crises like this. And I think that is like a, that was a pre-existing infrastructure that then this even much greater, mobilization could happen on top of. Right. But like, I think that there is like more support for this kind of thing that already existed because of how much Minneapolis has already gone through and the kind of like activists who have been forged through that.
And like you already have the trauma in your DNA as like a community culture kind of thing.
We've had a lot of trauma recently,
Yeah. And then you're able to have like the afterthought of, ugh, that was the worst. This is how we should handle it next time, God forbid. And now it's next time, God forbid.
I think there's a lot of people who probably are looking back on George Floyd and feeling like they didn't do enough, that they wish they had supported that more and shown their support to the community. And nobody's making that mistake again.
I think it's also such a specific thing to this crisis of like, the point is the only way you can fight it is with communication. When it's just like pockets of terror popping up all around your city, like it's bringing people together, because that is what the crisis results in, is like the only way you can fight it is like, hey, we're over here. All right, we're scouting over here. Like, it's just letting people know what is going on where we can conceivably help and get some whistles and get some cameras out there.
It is totally, it's like I was out for the BLM protests and I thought those were amazing, but like just the kind of general concept of we would like less police brutality is really hard to like act on.
Yes.
And in this, there are so many instances of like literally because people were standing on a street corner, someone did not get kidnapped.
Yes.
Like that is how direct it is. And that
Yeah.
kind of direct activism is something that is really hard and is horrifying that is now happening. But like you're so much more connected to the thing than just kind of going to a march where you hold a sign and cross your fingers that it changes someone's mind.
And you think about like a world where all we do is tap on our phone and scroll on our phone all day. Think about like justice conceivably occurring versus not comes down to these singular people hitting record on their phone and being in the right spot. Like literally, if these two people with the best angle on these murders were not recording, I mean, the government could lie.
The misinformation that could be pushed out about it.
It's like it comes
that they're
down
already trying to do, even though we have video that shows the opposite of what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
But like, just if there was no recordings, I mean, it's happening all the time, and there's no recordings about this stuff. But just that idea that it's just make or break for something so simple of just one person hitting record, it's wild. And you know, I've had a lot of people very sweet in the community reach out and hope that we're doing all right and all that stuff, and it's greatly appreciated. I've had a lot of friends who live across the country reach out. Just be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. It must be so brutal in Minnesota. And yes, it is a wildly fucked up situation, and it's scary. To have friends be harassed who've lived here their entire lives because they don't have their passport on them. It's insane. But the part that I want to express to everybody is like the part you're missing when you're just doom scrolling and seeing all this Minneapolis stuff is like being here. It's dark, but at the same time, it is the most uplifting social thing I've ever felt in my life. Like the sense of community is unbelievable. Like going to protests, it is a rallying spirit that is wild. And even outside of protests, everyone is just like best behavior, trying to help each other. Like we went to a restaurant last night that was having like, hey, come in, get like some noodles, and then you pay what you want. 100% of the money goes to support the cause. And like the restaurant was packed and everybody in there was in the best mood I've ever seen a group in their lives. It is heartwarming, like just at a protest last week, like people are bringing cookies, handing out this old woman's like, does anybody want some rhubarb? About rhubarb, bring it on your way home after the protest. It's like, oh my God, everybody. It is insane.
The Somali community was out. I read an article about they were bringing like like Somali tea, the kind of thing that they were handing out that like culturally, tea that's actually from Somalia that most people haven't had, and just like trying to share that with the people that are showing up to support them is what always just like punches me in the gut. Every bad thing, like, I don't get emotional about, but like Saturday, when the last shooting happened, I had to go and buy some milk at the store, and on the way home there were people out with signs, and there hasn't been that much activity in my neighborhood, but they were just like standing at a stop sign. There were a couple people, I honked at them when I drove by, and then when I got to the next stoplight, there were like a ton of people just like standing there, and I was like, I was stopped at a red light, so I was like, well, I should wait till the light changes before I honk, because it's weird if I honk while you're like 2 feet away from me. And like, while I was like in like the introvert mindset of overthinking this, like I made eye contact and just like waved, and like everybody's face lit up, that joyous thing that you're talking about. People are pissed, but they're out protesting to like have that, like sense of community and connection to people. And like once the light changed, I honked and I waved at everybody, and then I just cried the entire way home after that. Like, that hits so much harder than like all of the tragedy that we're going through. Like seeing like, yes, we are still Minnesotans, like this is what we still value, is very uplifting and very emotional at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, on Saturday, it's just a dark day, and there was like a candlelit vigil in a lot of communities. I was like, oh, I wonder how many people are going to come out for that. What's that going to be like? And then to see, like in our community alone, is hundreds and hundreds of people. Like people just walking down the sidewalk carrying candles. It's like, whoa, everyone's coming out for this. You know, and like being at protests, like neighborhood protests, like it is, you know, on the really cold day, what was that? Was it Friday? When I was out there, it was like 85% of the cars going by are honking like maniacs and giving 2 thumbs up, taking their hands off the wheel. Like we had like 2 people flip us off. You know, and it's like, well, there were a bunch of kids in this protest too. I was like, that seems like an odd move, but all right, sure. But it's like, I'll take that ratio. Like that seems fair. Like it is just everybody is like, thank God that other people are out there on small corners. So it's a wild feeling. Let's see. Do you all want to go to Sillytown, USA?
Please.
You got to turn the corner to Sillytown after that. Yeah.
Okay. Beep beep.
Hang a Yui.
Tom Blackburn writes in, hey, with that new game starring a train, what other game could be improved by replacing the main character with a train? Tom, we're trying to have a serious conversation on this podcast. We can't.
Tom!
Damn it,
Read
Tom.
the room!
Not now, Tom. What about like Uncharted 2? But it's like a train hanging off a big Nathan Drake in the beginning.
Oh, yeah, the train could be inside the train when it's falling.
Yeah, that's good. Or
You think
inside
you
of,
could do like a visual novel? You know, it's like And Roger, but it's a train.
Train.
yeah, the life and love of a
Consume
train.
me, but it's a train.
Dating sim, but it's trains.
Yeah.
That must already exist.
That must exist.
If,
We have a
I
pigeon
understand
one.
the interests of the internet.
Yeah.
What about
look.
like one of Jacob's favorite games, of course, Transistor, where it's a train with a giant sword going around.
What if it was like The Last Guardian and you still played as the boy, but then instead of Trico, it was just a big train car?
It's like Wrongfully Accused when the train chases Liam through the woods. We all remember that iconic scene. What about David Cage's Heavy Train? If you remember that one. The vampire game Blood Train.
And the question was,
getting
what
a lot.
video game title fits train into
Fits
it most
train.
easily?
Yeah, I guess it doesn't work.
Heavy Train is pretty funny. Like
Yeah.
heavy train,
Heavy
but
Train's
it's just
good.
one of those like bridge building games.
Yeah, that's a
where
good
you're
name
just
for a
trying
game.
Trying to
see-
get a heavy train from left to right.
Yeah, because I think people would be like, why does that sound familiar? Why does that sound good? It's a good name for a game. Take it, everybody. Metal Train Solid. All right, there's nothing. Benjamin Habel writes in, says, hey, MinnMax,
That was a hard one.
that was so hard, Tom. Hey, MinnMax, as I'm working as a self-employed motion designer and AI is breathing down my neck, yeah, that's rough. I often think about changing my career trajectory completely when push comes to shove. As a thought experiment, what would each of you choose as a second career option if you had the chance to choose whatever you want? And what would you choose for each other? Okay, that's a lot. But it says, sincerely, Ben, second guessing in Austria. Love it. Thank you. This isn't Pee Pee Bang, but I appreciate that. Okay, I have the ideal career. Where recently,
Oh, okay.
I'm going to tell my kids to get into this. I want to tell everyone to get into this. This is the greatest gig on planet Earth. Remote notaries. Like I had to have something notarized recently, and it's like you can just do it online. And it just like connected me through some portal, and then it was just like some schlub sitting in an apartment. And he's like, okay, you got this paperwork? All right, just hold it up to the camera. All right, cool, bye. I was like, what is that guy getting paid? That is the greatest gig I've ever seen on planet Earth. And like,
Notary.
what's that?
I'm a notary, and we could do that during COVID, but then they took the right away, so now I have to do it in person again. It's really annoying.
Oh God. So you think, okay, so they should have been in person, but just through some avenues, some are still able to do it online? Because if you can keep that online
Maybe-
thing rolling.
I mean, maybe in Minnesota you guys have permitted to be online, but it was so glorious because, like, when I do have to do a notarization, it's like, let's go. I met a lawyer like 20 years ago, and I would sound insane, but I'm like, I have to go meet my client in person. What the hell? Like, I just never have to see my clients
Now,
in person.
Haley, is your notary-ness related to you being a lawyer? Like, was it just like along the way you became a notary?
Like, if you're passing the bar and getting called to the bar, like, you just have to go sign something, and then you're a notary, essentially. Yeah.
Oh,
It
cool.
seems like the fakest job on earth. Like, you know, like a year ago, we had to get something notarized, and like we posted on the neighborhood Facebook group, like, who's a notary? And like one of our neighbors is. And so they just came over and watched us sign something, and then they were like, all good. What is this? Why do you get to decide that it's like official?
They do feel better than us, though. They have astute eyes, you can tell.
I have these really pretty stickers I use so everything looks more legit when I notarize it. I got them on Amazon.
Wow, look at that.
You could just own these.
Yeah, that looks less legit, Haley. That looks like, congratulations, you read a book in elementary school or something. Like,
What? I had one of these to an affidavit, and I'm like, no one's saying no to that. That's going right through to wherever it needs to go through.
I'm seeing on notarize.com, if you're a notary, they'll pay you $5 per completed notarization for online.
That's not bad. It takes like 2 seconds.
I know.
If you have like a big
easy.
queue, I guess, that you could burn through.
But it's like, Ben, would you be okay with your job meaning nothing every day forever? Like, is that even if it's like a very easy thing to do? Because it's like I've worked at boring jobs before, and it's like you're not like this is the life.
But a notary, what you're like, you have a little special air of like officiality that maybe Ben would get a little drunk on.
Last
big
one
time.
day
I mean,
of taking calls of being like,
Yeah, you're getting paid $5 per document. That's
Well, if you work for that cruddy website, I'm sure he'd find himself a nice little office.
Haley,
You'd have
thank
to
you for
set up.
encouraging me. Yeah, I just think like in terms of jobs that AI can't take, it's impossible.
It's like one of the
they're
few
so
guaranteed
gonna
take a
ones.
job that we made up that has no basis in reality anyway.
Basis in reality. Is she not?
You
Is she
think
not
you can't
human?
hold up a form to a paper and an AI says looks good? That's the
100%.
first thing.
That is
every
That's not
document
what
I've
notaries
come into
do.
contact-
It feels like that's what notaries do. But it's like, can AI
Watch
ever
you sign
swear
the
in on a
document.
Bible? I don't think so. Not in this country.
notaries
You guys don't know what
Bible.
notaries do.
I know what they did when we had to sign a document.
We know
which
what they-
they came over, watched us sign it, and
We know
was
what they
like,
don't do, which
thumbs
is
up.
work.
Did they do it? Did they put a seal on your document?
no.
Well, then what? I don't know what they were doing because you're supposed to put your seal on it to attest that you viewed the
You
signature.
live in a different country than us. All our rules make no sense.
How would they ever prove that a notary looked at it then?
Did they also sign the
I
document?
don't know. How would they prove that a notary isn't lying?
Because
Like,
there's a
you're
database
just-
of notaries, and you're supposed to verify it's actually the right notary. Who knows?
The whole idea of a notary is just there's a person you can trust more than other people. But it also seems like it's pretty easy to just become one of those people.
Yeah, you should do a course.
Haley was the witness to Janet's wedding. If you deflate her notariness, that wedding is null and void, you guys. We cannot
You can
do
be a
this to
witness
Janet.
anyways, but I lorded that over Sarah. She was so mad. It was great.
That sounds good. Travis in Fargo writes in, and Travis wants to know, what is your 10 o'clock snack? Signed, Hungry and Hungry. Come on, that's too perfect.
That PM?
I assume 10 a.m. snack is a
I assume.
boring prompt, I think, somehow. I don't know. That feels
A
different.
banana that with the peel on.
Oh, my tummy's rumbling. Ooh, banana.
I love chocolate at nighttime. I love
Yeah.
a little bit of a chocolate bar.
Now, is that, be honest, there's no judgment
Okay.
on this podcast and no one's listening.
Okay.
Does that, 10 o'clock, maybe you've had some beers, would you just like go and like squirt Hershey's into your mouth, like that level of like loving chocolate?
Squirt Hershey's into my mouth? What
Like-
chocolate?
Like syrup?
Yeah, the syrup.
syrup?
Yeah,
Oh no, when I'm drunk I want like greasy food. If I'm sober I want a little bit of chocolate.
yeah.
If I'm drunk I'm getting the Donair or something, the Halifax staple. And then otherwise a little chocolate bar.
Yeah.
I feel like the best nighttime snack is breakfast cereal.
Yes.
But I rarely, like, I don't often have, like, we don't drink a lot of milk in our house, so I rarely have it. But, like, when I can make that happen, when I've got the cereal and the milk and can just eat a bowl of cereal at 10 p.m., nothing better.
And I gotta say, some stressful times in the house, you know, with the second kid and what's happening in Minneapolis. It's my stress move, is I sit in my kitchen and I eat like 3 bowls of cereal at like 11 o'clock at night.
Oh, no.
It's like,
3?
my wife hears me pouring another bowl.
Just say you have really small bowls, Ben, just for the comment.
These are gargantuan, giant bowls filled to
Is
the
it like
brim.
I'm picturing like Forget a Silly Marshall where he has like a popcorn bowl
Yeah.
with the whole thing?
It's exactly
That's what I'm
like
picturing
that.
you eating.
Yeah, it's a sad.
What
state of
cereal do you
affairs.
pick?
Well, my kid has like Cheerios, so I'll get like Cheerios, then just squirt
Those are
honey
classic.
all over it. Like, making your own Honey Nut Cheerios is so freaking good.
Why don't you just buy Honey Nut? Oh, because you don't want the kid to have the Honey Nut.
I mean, sometimes we do, but I assume they're more expensive. So
Okay.
I don't want my kid to have Honey Nut Cheerios. I'm just gonna eat 3 bowls of
honeyed nuts Cheerios.
Look away!
I like how you said to me, "No judgment, you're so safe," and then you talked and we're like, "What the hell? What's wrong with you, weirdo?"
Recently, for me, it's just toast with jelly on it, like some raspberry jelly, some jam.
Jelly
tough
man.
to top.
I'll do sourdough toast at night, or else popcorn.
Excellent.
I'm a popcorn fiend
And popcorn.
at night.
Yeah.
and popcorn.
Hey, Jacob Geller, to go back to our new show plus this week, did you know that Lauren Michaels is obsessed with popcorn and has it all the time?
I did know that. He has it in his office. If you listened religiously to the Lonely Island podcast,
That's right.
you would have heard Seth Meyers talk about Lauren's popcorn.
It's weird. All right, what do y'all like for question of the week?
I want popcorn now.
God,
I'm gonna have popcorn
now,
after
too.
this, you guys.
Yeah, I am too. I'm gonna edit this while
It is
chewing on
10
popcorn.
o'clock right now. So
Oh my God, it actually is. That's why I'm
It's
so
11.
hungry.
It's at midnight for Haley.
I bet we asked that question exactly at 10 Central.
we did.
That's
we did.
cool.
That's so weird.
Freak out. Let's see,
I'm
the
100%
hyperfixate
having
on
popcorn now.
purchases. I like that. Who's listening to you and your critique a game? Of course, when are we getting into Sea of Thieves? Minneapolis is the unique community. It's interesting. It's such a soft.
That's kind of a good one.
It's tough to
I
avoid.
feel like there was another one that we talked about for a long time.
Second career option, where only the option was notary, and that's the only thing.
That question just became, what are notaries?
Because
and
it's the
why do we need them?
answer. It's the end all be all. So alpha and omega career, remote notary. All right, Jacob, you're quiet. What do you like?
I like the Minneapolis one. I know it's kind of like not about video games, but like I thought it was a good
It
question.
had a really nice discussion, and I almost cried when Jeffin was talking. So
Great, because we all
made the show
listen to
better.
Jeff. That's right. Hypnos, congratulations. You just won question of the week. I'm 8-Bit will ship out that prize. Now it's time for something that we love to call Get a Load of This. Hey, get a load of this. You ever learn something, you're like, surely I knew this before, but I forgot about it? On the 8-4 Play podcast, John Ricciardi, Mark McDonald, all those folks over there love it. Been listening since the start, which now is like 25 years ago, so nonsense. But just the last episode, John Ricciardi just dropped that idea of like, well, Sega, service games. It's like, what? It's like, oh, that's what Sega stands for, is service games. That's the original, like, that's why it's called Sega.
what?
And like, yeah, I guess like
What?
in the 50s, it was like on some, coin slot thing. And that's where it was at first labeled as service games. Sega. There you go.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I had no idea. Or I forgot. But there you go. Listen to 8-4 Play. You learn stuff about the history of the industry all the time.
Get a load of this. Did you guys see that Bruce Springsteen wrote a song about your city?
I did. Try again,
Yeah.
Bruce.
Bruce wrote it in a day. It's called "In the Streets of Minneapolis."
You can't tell. No, it was a
You know
lovely
what's funny
song.
is I found it because my partner was like, "You need to listen to this Bruce Springsteen song." So I found it, and the Reddit thread, everyone adored it. They said
Oh, that's
he
nice.
could write a heater in 5 seconds. Amazing. Love the premise. Don't know if I love.
No, it's
song,
not. It's not worth talking
but-
about. It's a solid song. It was very sweet listening to it.
Bruce
fine.
Springsteen is listening to this podcast. Ben.
Don't listen, Bruce. Turn away,
Come
Bruce.
on.
Are you guys gonna like jam rock out to that?
I was
Does that make you happy?
thinking it's like protests, the small neighborhood protests. Like we could use a boombox, and it's like, what do you even play on it? And I guess the answer is just this song on loop.
This Bruce Springsteen song. Yeah,
Yeah, and some Prince, and call it a day.
yeah Prince. I forgot about that.
The Fargo theme.
Get a load of this. It's a little boring to just do a movie for a get a load of this, but it's for a specific reason. I've been trying to wrap up my Best Picture Oscar watches, and I watched Train Dreams, which is on Netflix, is one of the 10 movies nominated for Best Picture. It's a lovely movie. I think it's really fun. I nearly messaged Haley about it because it is really just a Red Dead Redemption core movie, not in being a Western, but like the whole premise of the movie is just, if you were born in the late 1800s, the time of change that you lived through would be the most insane thing you've ever seen, which is kind of like what Red Dead Redemption is. And so it's just about a guy who's a lumberjack, and you go through his life and things change, and it's like a lot of it just really feels Red Dead Redemption, and it's like a very beautifully shot, lots of nature photography, but like if you just kind of want a fix of like what being in the world of Red Dead 2 feels like, Train Dreams is a pretty good hit, and it's also a very nice movie.
Yeah,
Love that.
cool.
Love it.
And it's on Netflix, at least American Netflix.
And it stars a train.
It stars a train.
Okay, thank God. All right, then it's on my list.
I saw the glitter in your eye when he mentioned a train thing, and your brain remembered a train joke.
Get ready for a 4 out of 10 joke a minute from now.
I'll watch the first third of it and then not finish it. I tried to start that joke like 5 times and you guys kept interrupting.
Oh, sorry.
Get a load of this. This is a YouTube video called Minneapolis, January 2026.
Oh, I've
Please
seen
go
that.
watch it. It's great. Hanson did a great job putting together a video showing all the things that are going on. And I feel like it is one that you just cannot dispute the facts of. So if you have people in your life that don't know what the facts are or are trying to refute it, please share it with them so that they know what's happening.
Thanks, Jeff. That was definitely the goal. It's not an essay. Thank you. It's just the idea of like, can I just put this stuff in a Premiere timeline to process it myself, just to like have a record of like, this is going to be just how I process what's going on and the amount of bullshit that's being spewed by these murderers. I just needed to have it all right out there.
Can I, this is a weird specific question, but where did that you raise your voice, I erase your voice?
Yeah.
Where did you find that clip?
That's a good question. Tricky one. There's a thread with some friends where it was sent. So it's somebody that I know that recorded that wanted to remain.
Oh my God. So like, you know, personally the person who,
yeah,
because that had, it's like, you know, I watched that in the video and I was like, that's a crazy clip.
Yeah.
And then like 2 days ago, just that clip went kind of viral on Blue Sky. And then yesterday it was like high on like a bunch of different subreddits of like, and it was just very, you know, like I assumed it came from like a news broadcast. So to know that you were like 0.0 for that is wild.
Yeah. I went back and re-listened to it because I was like, was that Ben asking that guy that? Because I couldn't find the clip anywhere else either. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it wasn't. Yeah, it's so strange. Because I like made that Blue Sky clip, I think on like Tuesday and put it up. And then it just blew up. Yeah, and it was like on the top of like all of the Reddits I look at, and I was like, "This is the weirdest thing." And
that's weird.
I have a lot of emotions about it. Sorry, but like, it's just weird to be like, okay, I'm trying to get away from doom scrolling and clips and just like clips that you see and forget about. And it's like the point of that video was like, I just want to put it all together into one YouTube video. You know, so it's so funny that like then I took one clip from the YouTube video and then I mean, it's at like 4 million views on our Instagram. It is just blown up everywhere, and so like I'm glad, you know, that it's out there, but it's definitely, it gets scary when something blows up that big, you know. Maybe we could talk about it on a bonus pod or something, but there's just like some you know, dark stuff around the edges with that. But it's also just surreal to be like, oh, you know, Reuters and CNN and Newsweek and like all these people are like reaching out for like confirmation, and it's just like, who filmed that, where is it? And it's like, well, the person wants to say anonymous, so ICE or heads online do not attack them in their homes. And so it's just like, it's a really delicate thing. So it's like blowing up, and it's like, good. I'm glad this is getting the message across, but at the same time, it's scary to be a 0.0 on something that blows up that big, I guess.
Yeah.
So weird situation. But thanks, Jeff. Thanks for watching that. I hope it changed a couple minds out there. It was really built for sharing. Hey, get a load of this from the community, Not Weirder, in the Discord there, where they share fun factoids all day, every day. He shared a YouTube video for the launch trailer for a game, and Not Weirder says, Ben's beloved Astro Duel 2 now has a spin-off game that is completely free with the mechanical twist that ships in this spaceship game can only turn to the right. And so Astro Duel 2, if you remember like last year, that kind of like party game that was super fun, he just like made a new version of it, the developer, and released it. It's called Astro Party EX. And it's free on Steam. I think it's also free on Switch. And it's the same game Except now it's only 2 buttons, and when you press one button, your ship just spins to the right. But depending on how like long you hold it down, it can get the job done. It's such a weird idea because like Astro Duel 2 rules, and so maybe it was that idea of like, how do I re-release this? Maybe I can put a twist on it.
Maybe to like mobile for they only wanted 2 buttons.
Oh, that could be.
Yeah,
I don't know. But it's a weird thing. But you can check out the launch trailer, and now you have no excuse for not playing that game because it's free and you can turn to the
I want it to be 1 button. No.
Yeah, you're right. Come on.
Yeah.
Too many buttons.
Well, that is it for this episode of the MinnMax Show podcast. Thanks everybody for watching, listening, sharing all this fun stuff. Greatly appreciate it. And not so fun stuff. Thanks for sharing that as well. This week for New Show Plus, Jacob and I had a very chill conversation about books. It was another New Show Plus poll that had like 900 votes, and it came down to like 2 in the end. Like 2. Those are so close. And so
I had some new sim mods already downloaded. That's how close it was.
I know. It's right there. So it's just Jacob and I talking about highlights from some great books we've read recently, and it's in the bonus podcast feed if you're a supporter at the $5 tier, where you also get early ad-free access to this MinnMax show every single week, and the extended version of Pew Pew Bang, and bonus pod that Haley hosts every week. Not this week because her power is out on Monday, but most weeks bonus pod is there, of course. And then, any help sharing that ICE video is appreciated here. And then also we're at the end of the month, so Wall of Heroes, everybody. So if you want to jump up to the $50 tier and promote your passion project, put any image you want in a rotating slideshow on every MinnMax video throughout the entire month. You can jump up to that $50 tier. If you want to send a message, you can jump up if you'd like. People that are already at that tier, you can change to whatever you'd like it to be. So jump on in, put something new in that Wall of Heroes rotation there. Or if you want to help, promote an indie game, something like that, it's a great option for you. All right, that's it, everybody. Thanks so much. Be sure to tune in this Friday, starting 5 p.m. Central, from the MinnMax studio, where we're doing that big Ice Out charity stream with Giant Bomb. So it should be a fun time. And the game that we're going to be playing, I'm very excited. It seems like Jeff Grubb is perfectly equipped to play this experience, and I've been sitting on this game for a very, very long time for a rainy day, and this is the day to do it. So it's a secret; they can't know because he has to play through the entire thing, and it's going to be brutal in hopefully a fun way. All right, Jacob, I'll see you in the flesh real soon, dude.
All right, bye.
All right, bye everybody. Be good and fun. Let's go.